stream button. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna update the EN tier list this time. Hey Lolly, I see you joined as well. But yeah, we're gonna update the EN side of the tier list since it's been 5 months since we last touched this. And we're going to add up until Megu 5 and Cotton 4. We are not going to fully install all the adjustments that they posted just because the confidence of these ones being released is there. This one is not so hot in terms of like timeline, so we'll see. I will update minorly what the any type of extra updates that they have given us as it comes out, just like I've been doing with this list here and there. So just a quick note for those showing up on the stream. So shall we get started? Oops. Let's see. So first of all, where do you think we should start here, Red? Do you think we should start with just moving moving styles? Because, like, there's a bunch of new styles we gotta take care of as well.
Yeah, that seems like a good place to start.
Okay. We should just work and placement stuff, with the assumption that these will be there. And adjusting accordingly. So we'll start off with the usual. Start off on up here. Yunyun and Seika 2. For those who have been following meta, you guys probably know that Seika 2 is and Yunyun have been the staple of EN since pretty much December. Early December was it when Yunyun came out? If I'm not mistaken. And have been the staple. And sadly, one of these staples is getting a little power crept. In the near month, I think I'd expect it to be, is that what they said, mid in the summer, right? So in about like a month, maybe 2 months, I expect them to release Tama 5, which will kind of take the place of Seika 2 for the most part. So unfortunately, I do need to ding her down a little bit just because she won't be as prominent, especially if you have Suit Tama. So for now, though, it'll be probably adjusted as we add more styles. I'll just knock her down a whole entire peg here, right? Just one entire block, just so then we have a differentiation. Union is still gonna be just amazing. I think you can't really go without her for quite some time unless you have a damage dealer that can provide funnel. So the real question is, how important do you think she is comparatively to Suit, Red? Because I feel like we should put Suit here and then Yunyun goes right here. Because I think that's like a good show of power difference. Of course, remember that we're at Limit Break 1 and owning all previous Memoria.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Sutama should be above her.
Yeah. We also have to assume that we're adding in Union 3 and Union 2, which will assume that she has Union 1. So we could technically move Union down here, right? Because Union 2 needs to be pretty much on par with her, and Union 3 definitely needs to go like slightly above her at Limit Break 1. So I'd say for now we'll just knock her here. For now, we'll move accordingly. And I know I'm like jumping a little bit, but I think just for sake of showing, I will move Suit Tama here. So Suit Tama, top of the bunch. When it comes to general support, she provides crit damage, Mind Eye to a single target. She can provide a nice boost for large enhance for the backline, and her common stuff for S styles and A styles can heal. The main issue with her is she kind of has to pick and choose if she's buffing or healing. So if you are too weak and you need a heal a lot, she can't really show up as your buffer. Like she can't really buff your team, your main damage dealer. Um, but the main reason why you would want to bring her would be that she herself is very important when it comes to getting the highest amount uh, of crit damage. I guess I should show that on stream. We could do that. Um, it's in English, right? If I click this, I'm not going to say. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Um, as you can see here, increases crit damage of the ally by 50%. This is a huge deal, just because you probably have noticed that crit damage across the game has been set at 30% at the highest. So this will be the highest amount of crit damage you'll get, which means 2 stacks will get you to 100% crit damage instead of 60% crit damage as a bonus. Of course, your base rate is 50%. So very potent, very amazing support that you kind of should pick up in general. As for the elementals, since they're not exactly as good as Tama, I think they just get knocked down just one peg for now, and then we can decide together where we actually want to sit them. I feel confident on keeping Yotsuha higher than Yunyun. However, remember we are going to be in a place where Adele 4 needs to be considered. Um, just reminding you, Red, where we are
Thank you.
going to place our placements on for this. So
Okay.
I'm under the impression that we probably should do this to make our elemental thing a little bit longer. I think we,
Yeah, there's gonna need to be more
yeah,
space
I think there's
for
we need more
characters.
space for more characters, especially on the buffer section. I added this, by the way. I haven't moved any of them, but yeah. So um, I feel like Yotsuha still 10 out of 10. Um, hands down, uh, like the best elemental buffer you can ask for. She really does everything you want in a buffer outside of hit count. So, and I guess regular crit damage. So, um, I'd like to keep her here. I think you have no complaints, Red. But
Yep,
I'm gonna keep her here.
seems
Union
good.
um, is gonna be strong. We're still not in diva meta, so she's still highly considered. I would like to keep her at least in the same area that we keep Union here. So, whatever area that Union is, I think she should reflect that. And for now, we'll keep her at 10 because Union's at 10. We'll see if we want to shift the Unions anywhere, but I feel like they deserve to be at this spot until Diva's out. Um, I don't. I feel like you have no complaints on that.
Yep, no complaints. She's
Cool.
still gonna be a staple on most teams.
Yep. We'll go past defenders. We have none in 10 right now. Mua. So, Mua has been a staple in many EN teams. If you have her for hitting weakness, her Mind Eye is just way too powerful. Just like how Tama has it. The main issue is that now that Tama exists, you're probably going to use her a lot less. Maybe I'm pretty sure you'll still use her here and there, but just you won't use her as often anymore. Unfortunately, even though her heal does have a an overheal of 120, the heal amount actually isn't that strong considering that this is as much as a normal heal is. So like if we come over here, it's about the same exact amount and just costs a bunch more just for an overheal and for the Mind Eye. But since if you are looking at the comparisons now, she is just not cutting it as like head over heels, the greatest thing of all time. So I am more prominent to place her just like Seika, just top of tier 9. Still widely, in my opinion, the best healer in the healer role. Granted, Tama is not part of the healer role. She just has a subclass, should I call it, of healer. And I would like to place her in this category. You think she deserves a little bit lower, or you think that's like fair of an assessment?
I think that the gap between her and other healers will start to close a little bit. So I
Yeah.
think it would be fair to move them closer together, whether you move other healers up or move her down, or
Well,
both.
I mean, I'm moving her down at the
Yeah.
very least because remember it should kind of speculate of like how important they are in the same tier, right? Of like not how important, but like how powerful, impactful should we call it? They are, right? And I feel like she doesn't feel as impactful as what is within these tiers at the time of well, what is there once the others come in, right? Um, debuffers. We're gonna ignore this part because there's nothing here yet. But Shadow. So the first of the Shadow series. I think we only have two Shadow series for this stream, Red. We only have Shadow and Casa. Yeah, Shadow and Casa only. I still think Shadow deserves this slot. I don't think she has to move just because Overright's just too strong, and she doesn't have to compete with other Overriders per se outside of Casa. So I think this is
Outside of Inori,
okay. Well,
kind of.
kind of. Okay, I get you.
It is kind of her direct competition.
It is her direct competition, in a sense. Um, but I do feel like this is kind of her placement. I don't think it really moves.
Yeah, she has very strong skills, and they feel cheap even if they're not cheap.
Someone asked in a YouTube chat, so I'm going to answer this real quick. Does crit damage stack with LB passives? That is correct. So anything to do with, I'll show you here. We'll just go to Tama because it shows easier to see it. Where is it? There it is. As you can see here, you see category here. Category critical damage up count. So this means that there's a count. These things will only stack upon itself as a buff. And so this will only go up to 2. You can only hold up to 2 at the same time. I mean, you can only use 2 at the same time. Not you can only hold. You can hold more than 2. But if we go to like Inori here, right? Her passive, due to limit break passive, right? Does not say count. So they will stack additively, right? So it'll be the initial 50 plus the 100 from Tama plus this 30. So yeah, getting off the segue. So I think Shara still deserves this spot. I feel like she still does what she needs to do. And I think it's prominent still just because I'm expecting, this is just expectations, is that after Angel Beats collab, all score attacks will start being 150% weakness. That's just my speculation. Due to placement of where we are with banners and all that stuff. I think that will kind of close the gap as well. We will feel the gap on the initial release if they release Inori with Angel Beats. It's seeming like they will with the announcements they've done, but they haven't done a follow up, so we can't really say much about that. But you'll feel that big difference on Inori versus everyone else initially until the 150 weakness, as well as all the new prominent supports coming out along the way. I guess we'll just go to damage for now.
Okay.
But I think everyone should probably be knocked down a little bit because Inori will be making her way, especially for this AoE side. But for the most part, Aoi is still top of this whole block, especially with Shadow being present. Just incredibly powerful. And the fact that if you have her SS1, she can protect, she can just deal damage because she has token. I just feel like there's a need to just move her for now, just because Inori is a direct competition and kind of a brutal one, to be quite frank. So I'm just gonna move everyone down a whole entire tier here to start off with for damage, and then we'll work our way down eventually. Yeah. Oops. 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 There we go. I don't feel like Aoi deserves bottom of 9. I think she can comfortably sit top of 9. As my assumption is we're going to put Inori bottom of 10. So I feel like she's still top of her class for damage, especially for single target. So that's where I'm going to be wanting to place her, unless Red, you feel like and compelled to put her on bottom of 9. Lolly, you can chime in, by the way, whenever you want. But I really feel like she kind of deserves this spot still.
Yeah, she's still very strong. Definitely the best single target attacker for almost all content.
Yeah, and even in JP, yes, Thunder is slow, and yes, Thunder is considered like pretty, um, like I think the worst element at the moment. um, she still gets you all the rewards you need to this day, just as a like by herself, kind of. As long as you have Shadow, of course, right? You have this combo, and like you can kind of slapstick anything after that, and she could still perform as long as she has decent buffs and stuff. Unlike most other damage dealers, which will struggle for that. So just a staple. As for AOE, I will move this for now because we all know it's happening, right? Inori, right here. She was here for pre-buff. Post-buff, she will be at the top. I'm just gonna mark this as post-buff, right? I guess I'll just go buffed, right? I will remove the buffed rule here the moment that it is actually in the game. Until then, yeah, we're not. I'm not gonna have that on there, and I'll leave pre-buff here, just because we don't. It hasn't been in the game yet, so that's just what I'm showing. But Inori is just incredibly powerful, especially because this will be a time where there's only going to be Shadow, there's only going to be Tsukasa for overriding. Her main pluses comes from the fact that she has Pierce Crit, which means that no matter what the enemy has as their defenses, as long as they're not a one certain boss that exists in the game right now, and actually there's a couple of them actually that she can't, but there's very very few that she can't. Everyone else is going to be hit automatically by weakness by this skill. This will include what's it called again? What is it called in EN Red? Not gold hoppers.
Exposed and tactical
What's it called?
vision.
No.
Old skitters.
Gold skitters. Yeah. So you know those gold skitters that's supposed to be like resist to everything, and you have to hit them like a couple times before they die on auto attacks. Yeah, that's not the case here. She will just kill them and deal like full crit, weakness damage, instant pop. Um, the main thing you have to understand is Inori, her EX skills. She may be powerful with, if he levels to 10, a whopping at the highest 18k base, right? It's at a cost of 18 SP, which is a lot. Also note that it requires charge. So as you can see, without charge you don't have it. With charge you do. And charge you can either get from allies, which is probably not the best because like the characters that give charge are not that great right now. And giving herself self charge. She also gives herself crit rate. This crit rate's kind of worthless. I just got a message. On the stream. Hi, are you a bird? No, I am not a bird. But yes, this is the way she gives herself charge. This will go from 7 cost to 6 cost, so that's a very, very good, small increase of making sure that she can actually get her Pierce crit as well as her LB0 passive, the new one. If she starts in the front line, she'll get +2 SP. I don't know if you've actually done this, Red, but have you ever used her for dungeon?
No, I haven't. I've been tempted to, but
Yeah, so this passive is actually pretty good for dungeon. Mostly because if you have her common skill here, right? AoE, 3 hit, it deals pretty good damage, has HP scale and stuff, and this +2 SP kind of allows you to actually pop this off really often, um, more often than you think. So she's always nice there too. So yeah, that's why she's at the top, just because she can hit anything for for auto crit. I'm gonna lower the use union, by the way, to where all unions are. Although I have a feeling I don't need this notable S area, but I'm gonna keep it. Do you think there's a reason for me to keep this? I could just get rid of it. I have like no
I
use
feel
for
like
it.
as Shiki's probably gonna see a rise in usage to pair with Inori.
I guess it's not. You're not wrong. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but probably. I guess we'll go to nines. I feel like yeah, we'll go to nines here. So Seika, we moved to 9. I feel like she deserves this spot and should not go lower than this. And I feel like Muddy 2 should also not move here. I think she is perfectly fine where she is. Um, she doesn't really get affected too much just because um, she's ends up after Suit Tama comes out either dedicated to CT, so that's the tower, right? Hell mode, as well as for ice teams. If you have her SS1, and she does the job well. You really can't really complain. So I feel like that's a solid placement. I don't think you should really lower her any more than bottom of 9. She's really powerful still, and should still see seen as powerful. Um, yeah, I feel like there's not much to say outside of that. You have any input you want to add, Red?
Yeah, between the content, like Clock Tower and being on ice teams where she shines, there's maybe more valid use cases for her in a quote unquote optimal team than there is for Sega to. I think like there could be a small argument to place her at least on the same tier as Sega, just because she's more useful in the situations where she shines. Whereas
Hmm.
Sega 2 will almost universally be worse than Tama.
You know, you make a good point. You make a solid point. Um, I guess you can argue that she is in the same tier. That's why I'm like, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't want to move her down because there's no way she is way lower than Seika. If anything, she's equal, if not slightly lower. Lolly, you don't have your own input. Um, I know you didn't like play GP at this time, but like, I know you know the game well enough. So, you have any input yourself, Lolly, or you mute City this today? Lolly's mute City today. Okay. For now, I think I'll actually raise her up. I do kind of agree with those sentiments. So I will move her up. I don't feel like they should both be down here. They're still incredibly powerful, and should be respected. So, Casa 3. Still incredibly strong as an elemental buffer. Still wanted. You have your field, you have your light buff, you have your crit damage, but the main issue comes in is, well, your crit and crit damage don't feel as important as if you have Tama 5 in your team. So it's not the craziest thing, and I feel like she doesn't need to move for now. Maybe once we add more characters in, we'll feel the need to move, but I feel like for now it's fine keeping her here. I don't see a issue on keeping where she's at, unless you feel like there's a need, Red.
No, I think she can stay where she is, but she does get a little bit better in the sense that the attacker she's most happy to be paired with, Kanade, also has her own source of tactical vision or mind's eye. which means that she's less competing directly with Sutama.
Yeah, that's true. You're not wrong.
But I don't
Um,
think that affects her placement. I think it's
I
just
really don't.
something to note.
That is true. Thank you for noting that. I totally forgot about that. It flew over my head. What's the expected damage cap for Inori? Um, yeah, I don't really calculate the maximum damage cap. I just do kind of relative. Just note that the main concern is yes, she has one of the highest potencies in the game as an AoE damage dealer, right? So her damage against single target is still relatively high. It's way higher than most single targets are. The main issue for Inodi 2 is that um, she doesn't have a field. And we don't know. I don't know when they're gonna release Field. They should release Field. Like I think JP had it here, right? Somewhere around here. Field. Red, do you remember when
I
they added
don't quite
Field? It was
remember
around
now.
here, right?
Master skill update.
It's around here somewhere. I can't be certain when Field gets added, but I'm going to pretend we don't have Master Skills here, just because
Yeah, we
we don't
shouldn't.
know when Yostar is going to decide to implement them. Once they are implemented, I will redo this list a little bit, right? This is according to what we can expect. I don't want to update this list for like, after every update, it's just too much work. Aoi. Aoi is really good still. I feel like she deserves this tier 9 spot. I don't think it really changes too much how she is, right? So I think what Red?
Yeah, she doesn't move.
Yeah, she doesn't move. She's just really good overall. The best defender. There'll be more anti-Aoi mechanics in later on, but like you can still play around that and use her where it would be important to use her, even with those mechanics around. So I feel like you just have to use your brain instead of being brainless, and that's the only difference, which isn't that much of a difference. Mua, I think we're gonna stick her here, leave her here. I think a lot of the healers are going to move up just due to the fact that they just get paired very well with Tama 5. Megu. Megu 3. Yeah, I don't think she changes at all. She's just really strong. Even with the upcoming buffers and stuff, there's not much to say. Excuse me, that anything really outcompetes her, especially an elemental role. She's just has a large field. And we have to, by the way, we are assuming that you are having Tama 5 for this list. As it says, you own all of them, right? So she will also have a even larger field of 15%. So field for her is supposed to be 65% power bonus, but it's going to be a plus 15% flat, right? So it's going to be 80% power damage bonus. So she's going to be incredibly potent for a fire team. As for utility, utility might need another row soon. Who knows? We'll see when the more stuff comes. But Aina, help. Aina is still gonna be top of the bunch, but we're gonna have to make room for Aina 2.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to move shift Aina here, and we're gonna bring in her. I know I'm like grabbing from this here a little bit. But we should bring her in just because I want to show why we're making the space, right? So Aina 2 will be just much better and much stronger than Aina herself. Let's put that on. Forgot I have put Tama in here, but I need to make her name red. Darn, I should have made everyone's name red. Anyways, so Aina. Oh, Aina 1 already exists in the game too now. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
So Aina 2 is incredibly potent for gaining OD. She'll be your go-to for most of the, like, from her all the way until Diva, I think is like the whole era of Aina 2 just being your OD generator plus Fragile. Incredibly potent. If you have SS1, it's even better because you can actually um, use her EX1 if you really need to have a little bit more SP. I mean SP. I mean a little more OD without using your EX, as well as the mere fact that the only way to get fragile AOE is going to be through her SS1, right? Aina 2, the main thing you do need to know about her that probably most people haven't really talked about, I also haven't talked about it because I keep forgetting to even mention it, is unlike most EXs, this EX can actually be used a maximum of 6 times. Um, right? So like when you first get it, it will only have like 2 uses or whatever, but like once you max it out, it goes to 6 uses. It's pretty good because this is your main OD generator. As you can see, it provides a lot of hits. So this thing is supposed to hit 5 hit AoE. If you only hit one target, it becomes 15 hits. If you hit 2 targets, it becomes was 16 hits, and then if it's 3 targets, it becomes 18 hits. So it's a lot of OD. Um, and this skill has 6 uses, which is a lot of uses. So you can use this 4 times to generate OD only without using it for the defense down if you really wanted to use this skill for the defense down. Um, and what 4 uses will easily get this this 7. By the way, it costs only 7 SP. It's one of the cheapest costing EXs in the game. So really really good all around. And her common skill is 12 cost, but actually it will go to half cost if in OD. It says it in here in Japanese. You probably can't read it. Um, but it does AoE, and it has an AoE dark defense down. So incredibly strong, incredibly potent. This thing also hits like a truck. So there's a lot of meme Japanese players who will use her as their main damage dealer because you can. But yeah, I don't know. Have you seen them, Red? All the people who just post Aina damage because they
Yeah, I
can.
saw it back when she released.
Yeah. But yeah. So overall, really amazing. Arguably, you could put her up here.
I
But
would
I
put her up.
what?
I would put her up there.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it. I was like, if I put her up here, I don't want to put her here. I would put her here. She's
I
just,
think she's just so clearly better than every other character on the same tier as her currently.
yeah. I mean, I do agree, but yeah, we'll put her here. I guess we'll move Aina back. Haha. But yeah, so Aina 2, just incredibly potent, incredibly strong. Is she a must pull? The answer is no, by the way. She'll just make your life easier for quite some time. But she is not a must pull. I just want to emphasize that. Akari 2, Limit Break 2 Plus. So I will remind why, even though it says Limit Break 1 here, why I added this is because at Limit Break 1, I have her down here. She's like kind of barely viable. That's mostly because you actually need her to have enough stats to do her job. Okay, so her job is to generate a bunch of OD by breaking the enemy. So every time she breaks an enemy with her EX, which is single target, it'll provide you with 150% OD. It's incredibly strong, incredibly potent. In JP, we just had Seraph Skirmish Simulation, and it was weak against ice, and she was like the prominent support to use to generate OD because they lowered how much OD you get from hitting the enemy. I hate that so much, Red, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I felt it.
Dude, it was terrible. I remember when I saw that when they first updated the thing and I saw it, I was like, man, I can see how much OD each enemy gives me now. I mean, like what percentage. That must mean they're going to change this value, and I didn't think about it making it so much lower. It was bad. Let's go for damage. So we're gonna move on to damage here. I feel like these don't really move. We may move them as we add more from the new guys, but I feel like they don't move. Um,
Okay.
Aoi should stay here. Should we move any of our other damage dealers here? I think our Adele should go up.
That's pretty good, yeah.
I think Adele should go up here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't see them not moving up. Boop. Mari should also go up with, and we could probably bring Yuri and Kanade up. Let's move her here. I am personally feeling this on the patch that they're going to be on. Chia's probably, yeah, Chia's probably still here. I'll move this for now as this, but yeah. So Adele's, they're just really strong. Before Diva, just they can kill from DP. If you are one of those people who just don't care too much about their scoring the highest in score attack, but at least getting all the rewards, the Adeles are the way to go. Especially if you have just barely enough limit breaks for them to kill the boss from full DP to 0. It's pretty funny to watch, but you can totally do that. They'll also be very strong for hard mode, as those bosses, the end game ones, they are weak to ice and dark. So she'll be very prominent there as well, as long as you have the other pieces as well. But they're just, whenever you hit weakness, they will do a lot. And Adele 2 can easily get a boss to 999 DR. And Adele 3 is just always cheating because her EX actually... Here, I'll just bring it up. Talked this like way in the past. But just in case there's newer players, whenever you upgrade a skill, right? Whenever you upgrade a skill, the damage, if there's damage associated, damage is the only thing that will change. The only one that doesn't follow this is Adele 3. She has a enhance, and if you level up the skill, the enhance value will also go up. So yeah, she's just a cheater overall, but she's just really strong. So they deserve 9 at the very least. I don't see a reason not to have them there. And we'll go to AoE. So these are prominent AoE figures. They will do a bunch of damage. Between Iena 2 and Uena 4, which one is a better pool? That depends on a lot of things. Depends if you how much you spend, how much you're willing to like try to pull for. It will change. I will bring it up when we get to Uena 4 on like her issues. But Iena 2 overall, I would say, is a better pull than Uena 4 when it comes to like free to plays, just because of what Iena 2 brings versus what Uena 4 brings. Right? Uena 4 is more what do you put it? Like, she alone won't help you, while Aina 2, she alone will help you. There's that, like, main difference. Anyways. Main damage. Misato 2 is very, very, very potent just because her hit count is incredibly high. I think it's like 12. And then you can add +3 for a large funnel when she hits during OD. So you should be using her EX during OD. She makes OD looping a breeze comparatively to like pretty much anything out there before her. And yeah, I feel like there's like nothing wrong to say, like nothing like bad to say about Misato 2. Granted, I don't use her anymore in JP. But she did serve her purpose, and she's hella cute, so what can I say? Uena 3 is just incredibly strong. She's one of the few that can provide herself a bunch of buffs, so that means dark enhance and dark crit damage. She can also provide herself regular enhance, but honestly, it's bad, so we pretend that doesn't exist. And her AoE numbers are decent. The getting buffed Hisame 2 will have similar damage numbers and stuff like that, the main difference is that Hisame can't really provide herself with the same like crazy amount of buffs that Yuina can, and that's like the main difference between the two. And Mona, she's here. I will note one thing about Mona. Um, she's only here because her damage potential is super high. She herself actually cannot function on her own. She's really like she's really weak alone. She is kind of like you could put it like a damage unit that needs a bunch of support. Like if you don't have the support behind her, she really does not do well. And so there's a lot of investment put in for her for a team for her. Unlike Yuina, who can buff her own dark enhance as well as dark crit damage, or Misato, who can do regular enhance or ice enhance. I mean, she could do both, but yeah. And then she also has her own hit count buff. And Inori, who can give herself charge, crit rate, to be 100% and also automatically hit weakness. So she is the weakest of the bunch when it comes to like what she can bring to the table, but her damage output is probably higher than all of them. If we're talking about like their damage cap. So yeah, that's just food for thought. I feel like they don't really change as well. However, I would like to bring in a nice competitor of theirs. I'll bring you in way later, but is Waki. Waki is probably gonna be in this mesh. I'll move her in later. I'd like to try not to take away from here as too much. I did take away some, but that's because I wanted to show certain things. But I think the rest should stay here. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm at. You have anything to add, Red?
Yeah, if we're not taking into account the second wave of buffs that they mentioned, then
Mm-hmm.
I guess Hisame shouldn't move up, but she is worth mentioning that after her buff, she will be a lot more comparable to Yuina for dark
Yeah,
AoE damage.
she's definitely not in the same tier. Just because she
Very
doesn't
close, though.
provide herself crit damage or dark enhance, but she does provide herself charge, and she does also not cost as much SP. So, just also putting that out there. I guess we'll move down to the eights. We do not have any generals for 8. None of these are going to precisely move up until 8. However, I will note, I'm just going to move her for now. She will be moved to here because she's part of the first wave to be changed to more of a fire role rather than a general role. Um, we are here. Yeah. So now we are an elemental. At this state, I don't think Seiko 1 deserves to be at 8 anymore. at this state of the game that they're going to be at.
Yep.
And Union 2 without 1, I don't think also deserves to be in this spot anymore. I think they can sit in strong, maybe even like bottom of strong. I think so, right? At that point.
Something like that. They should definitely move down at least a little bit.
So I don't lower them. The main reason why they're getting, oh wow, they have a different shade of yellow. Oops. There you go. The reason why they were up there before is they didn't really have too much competition. They're about to gain a lot of competition, and they pretty much bring very little to their team. She will bring Thunder crit and crit damage, and that's it. As a standalone, that's why it says right here without SS1. And Seiko 1 will only bring a small field, which will be competing against a large field that will exist from Megu later, who's going to be a debuffer. And yeah, she doesn't really just bring just enough to the table. So she's still strong, just you will feel the difference, a large difference between using her and using the ones who are up here, right, for their respective roles. And I think that's like fine to say. So I'll mark them at bottom of 7. They really do move a lot. Defender, Ichiko. This is assuming that we do have Ichiko 1. Remember, right? So I still feel like she is still rank 8, bottom of 8. She's not the best thing in the world, but she's also not the worst thing in the world. Being able to provide buff increase for fire attack. Yes, they have many avenues to do that. I'm just noting that in the event that you don't have it, she can do it. You have defense up, you have taunts, and she's one of the prominent ones that if you taunt with her, then she'll take a lot less damage. So she will, and not only that, but her stat balance is way better than Ichigo 1. It's just really good for tanking. So she will feel very tanky comparatively to Ichigo 1 when you use her for as a. If they're the same LB, she'll just feel so much more tanky. Yeah. Oh, I should note this. I didn't bring it up with Muddy, but Bride Muddy and Bride Ichigo. Red, do you? I don't remember ever giving them out for free. Like
They
you
never
get
gave them
selector
out
of
for
one.
me.
Yeah, they never did. I just wanted to note this out there. Some people are kind of like spreading rumors of that happening. That's only CN. So CN actually gave the Bride banner a selector. However, I don't remember JP ever doing that. And Red has also has played JP since launch. Yeah, we don't remember it existing, so I just want to put it out there. Most likely, Ian's not gonna get it. A selector for Bride. That is a CN only feature as of right now. So yeah, we're unsure if that's gonna be a thing, but I would like people to know that JP did not get that. Lolly, did you want to say something?
It looks like the JP banner for them, it was just a pay banner where you can get one character you don't have. It was.
Yeah, it was something like that, but I didn't spend back then,
So
so I don't remember off the top of my
yeah,
head.
so technically, if anything, it was only if you have every single other memorial, then it was just a random one between the two. But that's the only case.
Yeah. CN, on the other hand, did get a selector, though. That I do know. So if anyone's notes saying that, oh man, there might be a selector, probably not. Just putting it out there, probably not. Anyways, we are gonna go to our debuffer here, central. That's gonna be moved to general debuffers than anything else, because they are general debuffers. Mia 2, Aina 1, and Isuzu 2. Out of this list, personally, I like Aina and Mia 2 the most. However, it really depends on what kind of player you are and how you like feel about things. Mia is very good at allowing you to not have to pop OD if anything. You really only need up to OD 1 to pull off her kit. Granted, I'm letting you know you do not need OD to pull off her kit. However, OD 1 is slightly recommended to provide your own rest of your team enough stuff to pull off what they need to do. However, Aina, on the other hand, is going to be able to get you all the OD you'll need. And then at OD 3, she needs to use 4 turns to do all of her debuffs. So for defense down, for fragile, she'll do one of each. One debuff per turn, which is going to be 2 stacks of defense down, 2 stacks of fragile, which means that she'll need 4 turns, but she'll be able to provide that for herself, and it also costs very little SP for her, so she can always be spamming skills off while this is happening. This is the reason why I personally put a lot of value into Aina, but I do think that you can kind of argue about one or the other being higher, but Isuzu's clearly not as high as either of them. My personal take is I found more like success with Aina than Mia 2 up until like current JP, where in Anniversary 2 they like totally gave Mia 1 and the master skill and really changed everything about Mia 2. But until then, I feel like Aina 1 really stood out more because you had Union to provide the defense down that Aina 1 could not, as well as Aina 1 had the ability to provide OD, which can provide the rest of your team more SP, which is a bigger deal than Mia 2, which couldn't provide any SP or like real good OD generation. But that's changed a lot since like Diva and onwards in JP. But for the sake of this tier list, I personally feel like Aina is the stronger pick than Mia 2, up until, of course, Diva comes around. And we're not assuming in this list that Diva is around. So I'd like to personally make Aina like one tiny peg higher than Mia 2, but it really depends on, like I said, what you actually put your priorities in. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this. Any input, Red and Lolly?
One of the neat things about Aina is that she is AoE fragile and AoE defense down, so she can work in single target and AoE situations, where Mia's pretty much restricted to single target only.
That is true. You're not wrong. Well, actually, no. Mia technically
Has AoE fragile,
has
yeah.
AoE fragile.
But not def down.
But not def down. But then again, you can also use Union as your like def down to help out, right? So it really depends. Anyways, I personally am probably going to do this. Probably arguably to not be like this, but I think this is what I would like. I don't know how y'all feel, but this is how I feel about it. Sure, I can like make another layer, but I would like to keep it one line because there's just not very many of them right now. But that's kind of how I feel about these guys. Lolly, how are you feeling? Assuming these guys are LB1, by the way, not LB3.
Looks about right. I'll say Isuzu is a little bit in P or not. If you're killing, preferable, but if not, then he looks about right.
I mean, Isuzu could be moved down one, but I feel like it's fair to put her up here, especially with the hard mode that's coming out. I feel like it is fair to put her here. Just because there are a lot of times where she is incredibly potent. As for the rest, utility, I guess there's nothing here. We're probably going to move a lot of these here around. We'll see. I did move these guys around, and I will talk about it now. So, yay. Mari 3, why was she moved up? Is the main reason is that actually her damage numbers at this point of the game is actually the highest. She has one of the highest damage outputs in the game as a standalone. I don't remember exactly how or why, but Kappa kind of like pointed out to me. I think she had like the third highest damage cap before Diva. So like a month before Diva came out, she had the highest damage cap. I mean, the third highest damage cap available for single target. And that's just how strong she was. A lot of it came down to being able to throw down a field and being able to use her EX and that fact that she has hit count built into her kit. So she's just really strong. I personally have not used her that much, but whenever I see like numbers in the past, she was incredibly like potent. Just that Adele 2 is just a lot easier to use, which is why she's rated higher. And that's pretty much it. As for Yuri and Kanade, they got pushed up a bit, mostly because the introduction of all the other units have been coming out and stuff like that. The main point of Yuri, as she is, and Kanade, yes, they're coming out in EN very soon, is that Yuri has high hit count, because she's a blaster, of 10, so she actually generates OD quite easily. If you do break with her, which you probably will, with at least one stack of Union, that is 15 hits worth of OD. so she can easily generate OD while breaking. Um, Also generating OD if you just spam her EX without setup. So she's just really good all around in that aspect, where you just don't need a big blasters and stuff like that. Just note that as a blaster, she is probably the worst blaster. Because I mean, outside of Byakko, I think Byakko actually is the worst. Byakko 1, but outside of Byakko 1, UD has one of the lowest, like, I mean, the worst like SP, like with the DR to SP ratios, in the blaster category. But just because she is able to deal crazy amounts of damage, and stuff like that, the roll compression allows her to just be very potent. Plus, she's free, which is, I guess, not really like matters for the list, but like just a note. Kanade, really strong, really potent because of her ability to provide herself Mind Eye, which Red provided earlier. This allows her to not need to let's call again, to have Tama in the team. However, you're probably still going to use Tama just because she can provide more crit damage, but really she's going to be kind of used more for as a healer, and then for if you can't stack enough Mind Eye in time or something, then you can give a stack there. It's just for more flexibility in that aspect, and just allowing Tama to be more of a healer than a supportive role, or choose between the two. It's just very flexible. So rated up because of that. Her damage is pretty high. She's pretty good, and yeah, there's nothing really hateful to say about any of the AB units that are out in AB1. For AoE, we might even need another row for this, to be honest. Do that. Oh, that's the wrong way. Wait, it is the right way. Oops. This is my first time, guys. Not really, but there we go. Karen 3 and Maria 2. Karen 3, she's been out. If you haven't seen people use her, she's really good. If you haven't used her and you have her, try using her against anyone that is not resistant to her, and she can hit for weakness for either light or for slash, and she will just demolish them even if they're single target. A lot of it has to come down to the fact that, just like the Adele's, she has good amount of destruction building, and she also has a built-in large funnel that is like literally just built into her EX. So you use her EX once, and it automatically is in there. You don't have to prep it, just like for Adele. You don't need any of that. She's just really good. And Maria is really good for just dealing damage in general. I don't see very many people in JP, even after her release and stuff, use her. They just know that she has the potential to be good. It's just hard to pull her off, to be quite frank. So not used too often, but it should be noted that she is still high tier because she is really good. Any thoughts on this Red? Do you think any of them should be moved, or should I just lower Maria 2 by like a hair, just because she kind of isn't used?
Yeah, I think it's fair to lower her. She seems so good on paper, and then nobody uses her.
Yeah, like I don't use her because mine is LB0, but I'll let you know, LB0 Maria is just not usable at all. LB1 is like pretty still copium. This is the LB1 list. Her main issue actually comes in the fact that she needs to heal in order to get stacks of token, and so if she's not more than LB2, she kind of just dies when the enemy hits her, which is her main issue, more than anything else. And because she's not a high value like LB3 target, there aren't many people who actually have her above LB2 and use her often. Otherwise, people might have used her often before, but the mere fact that she has to sit in the front quite often to get tokens, and get slapped by the boss for pretty much all of her DP is just not good. And so she's kind of weak because she can't just hide in the back. Unlike Aoi, who can get her tokens while tanking shots, Maria just can't do that. So I think that's like the biggest takeaway of why she's just not used. Do you even have Maria 2 Red? Just wondering.
Yep, I do have her. I've used her for turn 0 stuff
Ah,
briefly with Sharo and with Union
ah,
because they can all use their ultimate on turn 1.
true. Did you feel the same issue as me though? Like where if you were to, when you were to field her, she just kind of crumbles because her LB's too low.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm using her healing skills to get tokens rather than to actually get the healing, and then it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, I think that's her main issue. Overall, I don't think she's bad, but I do think she's kind of overvalued due to that, and I did overvalue her before, um, because of well the rest are just not that strong. Um, this Union, we're gonna lower her. Just because all the other unions got lowered. This is pretty true. It's just notable stuff. Oh yeah, quick note for those who don't follow GP, but she has finally gotten. There's finally an SS that has um, the same LB passive as her, providing SP to the backline, and that is Irene 3. Oh, my headset said it needs charge. Give me a sec. I'll be right back.
Okay.
If Red, you want to talk about anything here in 7, go right ahead and catch me up when I get back.
Let's see what's going on in 7. The defenders probably aren't going to change places very much. If anything, they're gonna move down. There's more of an emphasis on healing rather than defending in this game. And Aoi already takes care of anything that needs defending. Summer Tama gets surprisingly good in light teams with the existence of Sutama, who gives her a strong skill enhancement for the backline, because Kanade already takes care of the Mind's Eye buff that she wants, and Sutama or Tsukasa already provides the crit. So those three make a nice core team that has healing, all the buffs you could want except for hit count, and a very strong damage dealer who will pretty much kill anything. But yeah, that one common skill that lets her buff skill damage is probably the most impactful buff that she'll get in her existence.
Okay, I've made my way back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. What did you go over?
Mostly about how Summer Tama gets a big buff from getting a common skill from Sutama
Ah,
that
that is true.
gives her a more defined role on light teams.
That is true. Well, since we already moved these girls here, we won't talk about them. And I feel like these two still kind of stick to where they are as defenders. They're strong, but like no one really uses them. But
Yep.
they're still strong. As if you have them, like you should kind of still field them. If you need the defense. But as Red mentioned, Tama does get access to Suit Tama's enhance. Sure, if you do have Suit Tama, you should probably field her more than this Tama. But there will be times where if you are not a high spender, that the boss will deal a little too much damage to your light teams, and she will be pretty good for there, especially because she also has a battery, which is not that bad. I think I'll move her probably just up like half. I don't. Do you feel like she would be 8? I feel like no. I feel like she'd be like just top.
Oh no, definitely not. I think
Yeah.
moving her up a little bit is still generous.
Now I'm still moving her up slightly. We'll see with the extras, but like let's be honest, there's still a gap between Moo and the
Yep.
rest. We'll go over to our utility girls. So big deal. Maki LB3, Yuina 2, are still prominent in their utility role. A lot of it has to do with Yuina being able to build DR while also building a lot of OD, especially while more and more like 2 target bosses come by in EN. They will start lowering how much multi-targets exist. Around Diva time, they just kind of stop, right? Like, I don't remember any post-Diva, but pre-Diva, there's a couple before that, and then around this time of this, where this is supposed to be stopped, there's a bunch of 2-target bosses. So, you will not, you'll notice that she gets used pretty often for those. Maki gets a lot of bonus. Once, of course, she has her tower upgrade, but before that, even she gets a lot of bonus just being able to build have fragile and build DR, especially in the meta of Inori 2. Just because until, of course, you do have access to field, Maki is kind of your go-to blaster for those teams. So, yeah, she's just really good for that, especially at LB3. Byakko, wow, these are a lot darker than the other ones. I'm just gonna, wow, ooh, I just noticed that. Oh my god, help. Byakko is just not as prominent as these two. I think she should be probably lowered at this point. And Nina is just really solid because she doesn't have to hit weakness, unlike a lot of the other like prominent blasters you'll see, like Byakko. I do personally like Karen more than Byakko when it comes to blasting, so I will probably increase Karen here up 1 notch. Half a notch, while lowering, just trading places, Byakko and Karen. I think that's pretty fair assessment between the two in terms of how much, like, blasting and how much, like, hit count and stuff that they bring. As for main damage, we might have to move a couple of these here and there. But for the most part, Chie kind of doesn't move. She still has a lot of different like things to work with. At this point, Chie 2 should have access to her party heal. Does she?
Yeah, she does.
Yes, she does. Okay, so the main factor of where she is placed, she has access to her party heal by the time that this list is supposed to be out, right? Like, it's supposed to be like based off of. And so it is important to just note that she can deal damage, she can tank, and she can provide herself hit count, large funnel, but now she can also heal. Just note, she can't do everything at the same time. She'll just be good for a linchpin. This is why she's placed at strong, because she can pretty much do everything, but she also can't, because she needs the SP for it. So just, that's why she is not way above everyone else, even though she does do a lot of roles. She just can't do all the roles at the same time. All the Rukas at this point will actually be increased. as you can see, there's Luca 2 and Luca 3. A large part of this is because you'll have access to Luca 4, which means that she'll have access to Mind Eye. So I feel like we should move up at least all the Lucas one notch up, just because they can have access to such big power spikes of Mind Eye. So it is fair to move them up. I don't think anyone else has anything to add to that, or you guys are pretty quiet, so.
Yeah, damage dealers aren't very exciting.
Oh, no, they're not. Oh, wait, why are they still here? Yeah, I feel like damage dealers are like the least exciting part of the tier list, because I'll be honest, you could pretty much use anyone and you won't really feel much of a difference in EN for quite some time. Outside of, well, you know, Inori or Aoi or like anyone that's not here, you won't feel that big of a difference for damage dealers. Just anyone in this top area, you'll feel it comparatively to everyone else that's down here. Wow, I just have a lot of different colors, huh? Anyways, so, yep, that's tier 7. We're going to move down to tier 6. Seda. We don't know if she's going to get her buff. But we're going to
No
assume
word
she
on
isn't.
it yet.
We have no word on it. It hasn't been announced or anything, so I'm just going to keep her here. I personally believe if you are not re-rolling for Suit Tama, or for any crit buffer for that matter, you should choose Seda 1 as your selector, as your first SS. Especially if the buffs roll out a little bit earlier, having that skill cost instead of, what is it, 16 or 13 or something is supposed to cost, be cost 9 is going to be very, very nice once the update rolls around. But even before that, she is very strong because crit is pretty much the bread and butter of dealing damage. Without crit, like, good luck dealing any damage. As for the others here, I guess we are lowering Tsukasa 1 as Tsukasa 2 takes the lead. Actually, you know what? Tsukasa 2 probably takes... Because I'll note, by the way, if you are unaware, Tsukasa 2 is getting a buff. Her buff, like, not buff, but like getting an adjustment. Her adjustment is going to be that her EX will now provide fire enhance, regular fire enhance. And her normal skill will now provide AoE fire defense down. She's actually used in JP here and there. Granted, you might say, oh, wait, but, like, we have Megu, we have, like, all these other characters you can use. There are teams where you actually specifically choose to bring her because you want to do low turn clears. She's very good for those. So, in all, I can't say that she's in the same tier as these girls. We don't know if she's going to get her tower upgrade yet, but we're really hoping she is. So, she may be moved due to it. We may not. But overall, I think she is probably actually an 8 right now, once those buffs roll around. They're just really strong buffs. She's just not, there's this gap between her and Yotsuha. But outside of that, I feel like she's really strong. Any thoughts on that, Red? Like, did I put her too high, you think?
Nope, I think she's fine. She really excels in AoE situations.
Yeah, of course we're counting with her with Tsukasa 1, where Tsukasa 1 provides field. So field enhances all that stuff that you need. She's just really good. So I will place her up there, looking pretty at tier 8 by herself. Wow, she's alone, just like in tier 9. So alone.
Also, her buff skill hits like a truck in dungeon. It's so strong.
Oh, you mean her?
Fire def down and fire damage.
Yeah, dude. They hit. I think it's because like the cost is pretty high.
Yep, 8 cost.
So, it's like 8 costers. Yeah, it's like it's pretty high. 8 cost. This thing hits decently hard actually, more than you expect. These numbers will only level up the skill of the party enhance and not the fire enhance. unfortunately. If we get tower upgrades, this will be really potent. As you can see, we get a field. But the main thing you have to notice is that the SP cost will go down to 10 from 12. That's a huge deal on top of this buff effect. This buff effect will allow her to actually effectively buff pretty close to, if not higher numbers than Yotsuha, unless Yotsuha is LB3. So at LB1, I'm pretty sure she actually has stronger enhances after, of course, the fact that this tower upgrade exists. Without it, not so much, but even then, she is still very powerful. And if you have both Tsukasa 1 and 2, and you do not have Yotsuha, you should be very happy, because this is a very huge deal. Going to the healers, Yanagi's and Tama 1. Do they even move? I'm just not feeling great about freaking any of them. I feel like the only reason you would bring... So, in the Suit Tama era, you are basically required to bring either another healer, A, or B, a defender. Tama 1, of course, cannot be fielded with Suit Tama, because, well, they're the same. However, you can field Yanagi. Yanagi can help your survival with her overheals, especially if Yanagi gets the ability to use her tower upgrade. Yanagi 1 is incredibly potent because her heal is massive and it provides charge. Not that charge is a big deal to have or not, unless you're running Inori 2, then yes, it kind of is. Outside of that, nothing crazy from her. But due to the fact that that meta is going to have Inori buffed, as well as it's the Suit Tama era, where if you don't have Aoi on your team, then you probably want something like Yanagi on your team. I feel like it's fair to actually move her up half a step.
Yep.
Just due to that fact. Of course, she's not the best in slot for those, which is why she's not going to be ranked higher than 6. I think we could rank literally both of them up 1. She's actually not the best one to field. If you're wondering who's the best one to field outside of Aoi, it'll actually end up being what's called like one of the defenders that can bring like defense up and stuff, or even like, not even joking, Idia, right? Like Idia is just really good to field, even post Suit Tama era, just because she has a defense up on her heal and just powerful when it comes to those type of things. And you don't have to leave her in the front because, well, you don't really want her to stay in the front for too long because she doesn't get SP per turn on the front. Although she does get OD, right? Like, I think she gives like a chance, a 30% chance or something, give 10% OD or something.
Rolling for that fortunate.
Yeah, dude.
Fortunate roll 10%, 30% chance activating.
Yeah, 30% chance for 10% OD. Woo! The chances. It's not worth it. She'll get obliterated if you leave her in the front. But just remember, she is going to be free. You'll get her for free, max LB, from the event. Just do the event. That's why she's... Look, if you notice, she is in the same tier as them. That's how good she is. Just FYI. As for your debuffers, we're going to go to our little debuffer pool here. We'll see Elemental and General. Each school probably should be moved at this point. We don't really need to add her to this part of the list anymore, just because we're going to have too many styles, and so we don't want to like put all their rules and everything in the same place anymore. Why is Yanagi 2 under 1 if you can just interject 1? It really doesn't matter. You're right. I should just put them in the same place. I have a thing against Yanagi. That's what it. That's the reason. So I'm sorry. Someone asked on YouTube about that. I was like, I mean, I have something against Yanagi. Okay. But they should be the same. You're right. There's no real reason why. Just note that this skill, will just not be used as often. And hopefully they have the same. Cause, yeah, 40-60, probably 40-60, right? Yeah, 40-60. The heal's the exact same, just the over heal's different. But you're right. I should probably just put them in the same place. You lose nothing for
I'll
fielding
say,
one or the other. Just
if
whoever has
anything, the
higher
only
OP.
reason that one, the only reason that one can be higher than two is that it saves you from the North Storms if you're low on them.
Yeah, there's that. But like overall, this is expecting that you have everything, right? So, um,
Mhm.
the Yanagis are good, in this era, but they're just not as prominent as, like just having a defender or having, even Idia. I would put them in the same exact tier. So I'm gonna move Idia up one because Yanagi is up to one. Idia is just very powerful because defense up is such a powerful buff. If you don't have a defense up defender, and you do, I mean, if you have one and you're not using them because you have Aoi, during the times there where, there are anti-Aoi measures, defense up is such a big deal, and you will definitely feel it. But yeah. Anyways, elemental stuff. Miko, ice defense down, single target, as well as, single target defense down. Very good to have, but if you're comparing to what's coming, yeah, I don't think she gets to move. I think she's just kind of stuck where she is. Doesn't really get to move. Fubuki, Sharo, same thing, except for I feel like Shadow should be like probably dotted down one. I don't feel like she's as prominent, at that point. And Isuzu probably is gonna go to, let's see. Yeah, this debuffer area is just all convoluted. They're all pretty much in the same boat. They're all kind of mid.
Debuffers who are missing one crucial skill.
Yeah, they're all kind of just debuffers are missing like one thing or maybe two things here and there. I don't really feel like moving them right now, but maybe I'll be compelled to later on. As for, our, utility, I think this is, probably raise Hisame 1. I think I undervalued her a little bit. But Hisame's thing is if she breaks, she'll provide everyone SP. You can actually use her as a main damage dealer, but she's just not that great at the job. But you can. Her main aspects of why she is good as a main damage dealer is the fact that she can provide herself, Thunder, enhance, which you will notice as a Thunder player will be the hardest buff to get. So, she will be able to provide that for herself, which is a big deal. Aika mentioned? What? Anyways, damage dealers. Just like I said before, damage dealers, they're just kind of floating around, when it comes to things. There isn't too much of a difference between damage dealers, but I'll do the best I can to like kind of show things. I don't believe that we should change any of these. Yeah, I'm not inclined to change any of these right now. Maybe Mona 1 goes up by 1 because we have more dark support. But that's about it. And even then, it's like, it's just because her damage is so high. Yeah, I think this is it. Oh wait, Nina's already out too. Jeez. Yeah, I feel like there's no reason to change them. Shiki, I think she still stays at 6. I don't even if we have Inori buffed, I think she can still stay here. Yeah, just there's not much to do here. Aina S probably go down 1. She only does one job, nothing else. Oops. Not really much to explain there. But these are notable S's, right? These Technically, I should add Meow here, but I don't. But yeah, so that's kind of all there is. There isn't too much here. Just remember that Hisame should go up if they get buffed. Uh, Karen should go up if she gets buffed, or like not if, but like when she gets buffed. Um, so who else got buffs that we know about? We should probably just talk about them real quick. So
Oh,
Bungo,
great. The fun part.
Carol, Bungo and Carol, because we already talked about Inori, right? So Bungo and Carol. Let's at least move the damage dealers that matter. So let's start with Bungo. Bungo is going to now have
Eternal defense down on her ultimate.
yes, she will now
For some
have
reason.
she'll have eternal defense down, but that will only be on the first time that she uses it. So she actually can't use it twice. Just note that this will only be able to be used once instead of twice. They don't really touch her damage at all, and so it kind of doesn't change very much at
I
all.
mean, the Eternal Death Down does make her damage better a little bit.
It does, but the thing you have to realize is that the first hit is what deals the most damage, and then the second hit just doesn't. So if you're using this skill to break, she just feels Omega bad. If you're using this skill for just raw damage, she does decently well in terms of damage. The main thing is you notice is her, her potency is very high for the cost, 13, right? And so I you can count her as viable. I still don't see very many people use her to this day. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about my EN account that I use her for HTA and for auto HTA. I'm not going to bring that up, but yeah, I mean, okay, like you could use her for CT, but it's it's like not so prominent. Yuina probably should be knocked up one, just because if she has all her other parts, she's just really nice to have, but she's not that like crazy. Ichigo should go up one as well. This main reason is because Thunder is going to lose the ability of providing what's it called again? Providing
Thunder Enhance.
Thunder Enhance, and she can actually provide that for herself. Just one stack, but it's better than nothing. And these two are considered completely viable. So I think I tiered them a little too low before, but they are very viable, so they should be marked as such.
Are we going back to Bungo now?
Yeah, we're going back to Bungo. What did you want to talk about Bungo?
I'm really excited about her buff because when it was released in JP, she wasn't the only character who had Eternal Death Down. That already existed on Suit Megu, and I think maybe even on someone else. But when the buff comes to Global, she's going to be the only character who has access to it. She's going to have a niche. She's going to be unique. I think that's really exciting. She might even get on some teams because of it. Even if it's just for a brief period of time.
I mean, you're not wrong on
Also,
that.
just saying,
Yeah, go on, Molly.
she does have it. You could use her in Ice Team as well if you didn't pull for Miko 2. Since with that internal defense down and having the access to Ice defense down, she brings more debuffs overall to Ice Team.
Yeah, that's true. Unless you're, on the bus of not running. I mean, if you're not running Union, then I don't know how you're getting your normal defense down outside of
From the orb.
from the orbs. Which that means she's running one orb, and you need another orb on someone. Like I don't know. That's that's a terrible, terrible sadness.
You're not seeing the vision.
Dude, I don't want to see it. That's why. I'm so tired of Fugo, bro. I use her in my account. Okay, I fucking hate it. Okay, she deserves.
I mean,
to be up here,
before when Before when Adele 2 first came out, I did just use 2 defense down orb on 2 different people for defense down.
I know. The main thing is Bungo does have that was meant, yeah. Thanks, Snap. But this Bungo does have way better stat distribution than Bungo 1. Granted that as a debuffer, her stats are not skewed for it, but I mean, you could get minimum potency is better than no potency. So, yeah, it's still relevant. Extra 20 defense down, all that stuff. Put an orb on her. Enjoy your life. I am not going to put her on the debuffer role because that sounds stupid. And something I don't really want to push. But
she
I
works well with Inari too.
Why?
Because it's really hard to raise the max damage cap for null damage dealers, and she can do it.
I hate you for saying that because it's true. Fine, I'll put her on. I'll put her on debuffer for now, just because she actually is a thing. We'll put her. Dude, this is so full of shit. Here. I don't think she deserves to be here. I guess right here is fine.
Why don't you just put her there and then swap her with Sharo? Problem solved.
Wait.
Eh.
I guess that's true. Shadow's pretty, right now. Not now, but, like, in this time period, so. There we go, Bungo. Knock yourself out. Bungo should also get higher in damage by a little bit. Okay. That's about it here. You really like Bungo, huh?
I'm just excited about this new meta that we've never seen even on JP.
True, we have never seen it.
The post-buff pre-Irene meta.
Pre-Irene meta. Oh my god, dude. Anyways, I feel like for the rest of these, there isn't very much. You know what? I actually like this yellow more than this yellow. Maybe I'll make all the yellows darker. That's probably why I had it dark in the first place. Sorry, I'm just changing this right now. Let's see. Sorry, chat and stuff. I am doing this so I don't have to do it later, but I like it darker than lighter.
Oh yeah, going back to a previous statement.
Yeah.
About Tsukasa 2. I check up on it a bit. The buff after Tsukasa 1's EX, the Tsukasa 2 gives 0.01 less than a LB1 Yotsuha. So they're basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the main difference is that Yotsuha has crit and crit damage, and Tsukasa has defense down and field.
Yep.
Which, she just doesn't pair with Megu well Yotsuha does, which is why Yotsuha's rated higher. Otherwise, they should be about similar. I do would put them in similar places. That's why Tsukasa's so high here. She's so good. Let's see. Going back down here. I feel like the lower tier, there's just not much to change. I feel like there's not much to talk about, and I think we should just add to the list the new stuff, so we don't waste too much time. I think that's valuable. Oh, we forgot to talk about Carol! Because no one cares. Oh no.
I don't remember what she gets. It's like
she gets enhanced. No, she gets enhanced. Yeah, so Carol gets her EX. No, it's regular enhance. That's why it's so bad. It's weak. It's a weak regular enhance. And she gets a LB0 passive, which is not present for many of her generation, right? Of just a tiny bit of thunder attack.
Okay.
And that's it. So damage is still kind of mediocre. Nothing crazy. Will that raise her up?
No.
Not really. I think
No.
it just keeps her there. I don't think she should move. We'll keep her as she is. Oh yeah, common's also usable at 0, but who cares about this common skill? So, I guess, you know what? It's okay. She could give herself thunder attack up. That's actually not bad. We'll keep her where she is. I feel like everyone else moved up enough that it should be kept this way. Damage dealers, I'll move them again, but just remember that if you watch the stream and if you're here, that like the ones within this area that I'm doing actually kind of matter, and then everyone else under just kind of feel the same. They don't feel too different. They just have their own little niches of either their element or what kind of damage they do. But yeah, let's just go towards what will be released. So this is in release order in JP. We're gonna follow all this. It's about 6 months worth of banners in JP, or 3 months in EN. So, yeah, let's get started. So Megu 4. For those who don't know the kits, I guess I'll just bring them up. This is one of the longer streams because of this. So Megu 4 does not have any field, unlike 3 or 5. But she was in JP the first to have Eternal Defense down. She will come shortly after Bungo does. This regular defense down will be, as you can see, AoE numbers as Eternal. And for a single target for Dark Defense down Eternal is going to be not exactly the same as a single target. I mean, a AoE elemental, but it is pretty close. And then the big deal about, a lot of Eternal Defense down stuff is they come with this recovery, anti-recovery skill. And anti-recovery skill is actually pretty good for a lot of bosses. It's not seen as crazy amazing, because it's not really used too often. I don't know how to put it. It's not like a lot of bosses you'll have to deal with this, but for bosses that do recover, this is a huge deal. So if you let's say there's a, I don't know, does a current score attack heal themselves or no?
This
Yeah.
this current one heals, and this week specifically, it has a turn 8 heal 30% DP, and you cannot stop it.
Okay, so, yeah, so as Lolly said, this current essay, in EN, has a heal at turn 8. If you actually use this skill, and the boss has their DP broken, they actually still regain their DP, but they'll be at DP of 1, which means an auto attack will break them again. That means it's literally just a free break. And this is just powerful because you can do stuff like that. And honestly, it saved me a lot of times. On her release banner and on the release banner of pretty much every single one of the ones that have this mechanic, all the bosses had some kind of heal after break, like by like turn 4 or something crazy like that, after breaking, which made them a lot more important to pull or have here and there. But they're not necessary. It's just a nice bonus to know about, so you're not so you're in the know. Outside of this Megu pretty much does nothing additional. Her LB3 passive is absolute garbage, and the main problem with these Eternal Defense down is it's only one use. Even if you like level up to 10, it's one use. And the only way to increase the use is to run a elemental necklace, which is a huge issue because the elemental necklace has no luck attached to it, while the normal ones do, which means that her debuffs are going to be weaker. But at least you can use this again for 15 SP, which is a lot, and your damage will increase because you have more multiplier. But it's just, I don't know, it's just not worth it, in my opinion. because it's just so slow. So that's kind of her problem. Where should she be rated? I'd say she is probably like up here in elemental. Probably like right here or here or something, right? Something like that.
Probably on the
I
lower
might
side.
put her. I
What?
might put her like
6.
next to Fubuki,
Really?
mainly because dark teams don't really have a spot for Megu 4, especially
I
if you
mean,
consider in the Aina 2 era.
yeah, I mean that's why Aina 2 is so high.
Yeah.
She's just not
So like,
in here. I should probably have her here too, but yeah. Um Overall, yeah, I guess. Now, I still feel like she is much more value than Fubuki 1 is though. Cuz you can do so much more with her. Cuz not only can she be used with what's it called again? With Tsukasa, right? Cuz Fubuki can't be used with Tsukasa, right?
She's not dark.
mhm.
She's
It's
not
true.
dark. So, you actually can use Megu with Tsukasa, which means that she can also get enough OD to actually perform her tasks, which is probably just, double fragile plus eternal defense down twice. It's still very expensive. And remember, Fubuki skills are still incredibly expensive because she hasn't had her buff yet.
Half cost.
Yeah. So I still think it's better. As for I think this is like a nice spot to place her. She's just not that much more important, but she is decent. Yeah. So bye bye Meku. Mua 2. So Mua 2 is one of those styles that if you do not have Mua 1, she's absolute garbage, and I would like to make that known. So I'm going to have this and have Mua 2 like here, right? This is SS SS2 without 1, right? Her SS2 kit is actually just made for SS1, right? To have with SS1. It's not expected you have anything. I mean, it's expected you have SS1 Mua in order to even care about SS2 Mua. Just because her kit doesn't do anything outside of increasing the amount of skill usage you can do by 1 for a single target and increase their SP by like 3. It gives them a minor heal, but it's just so bad overall that you're fielding her because she actually has one of the first SSs with a different SS. I mean, with a different LB's 1 passive. So, unlike most styles that have SS1 passives of +1 SP in the front, she actually has +1 SP in the back. So if you want your Mua to be fielded in the back for most of the fights, you would probably field Mua SS2. But with SS1, she is right next to SS1. There's like really no difference. You're basically never using her EX or her other parts anyways. So there's that. Yotsuha 2 is the show of why you know what, Red, why didn't they
Yep.
buff Yotsuha 2?
Because they hate her.
Dude, they had the buff wave 3. Why didn't they just buff Yotsuha 2? Why was she never buffed? What? I don't understand. She has literally the weakest funnel. It is times 10. I mean, it's 10% times 3, which is just really bad. Outside of that, she is just like Yotsuha 1, but her LB3 passive is absolutely terrible. So the best way to put it is she's just way worse Yotsuha 1. Um, I kind of value her like right here. You think so? I think she's like right here.
I
Maybe in here.
guess
Maybe even here.
maybe lower.
I think right here is fine. I don't think she's here. I think she's like here.
Okay.
Yeah. So, does she make it so you do not have to have Union? The answer is yes. However, is Union better in terms of hit count buff? The answer is yes. So, um, she's kind of a mixed bag. She's not terrible, but she's definitely not the powerhouse of Yotsuha 1. So, just note that. And she deserves kind of this spot. She's very strong, but just feels hindered because it just feels like WFS realized that Yotsuha 1 was too strong and decided not to make Yotsuha 2 as strong. That's all.
Even though at the time, Light is already weak.
Yeah, even though at that time Light was, I mean, I wouldn't say Light was like the weakest thing in the world. I think Light was like in the middle of the pack at the time, because Dark was
It-
the number
it
like
was
was last.
Yeah. Dark hadn't had their things at the time yet.
Yeah.
So Light was like second to last, if anything.
I mean, Ice was
Also,
really
I
weak
would
then too,
say-
though. So,
Even with Adele 2,
oh yeah, even with the Del 2, they were considered like weak as fuck.
oh,
Yeah, no crit damage, no like,
Big
like
field.
yeah, no big fields. Like they're just struggling. Light was considered
'cause-
stronger
because
than
of
Ice back
buff.
then. Ice only became considerably stronger, notably, comparatively to Light, on the release of this banner here. Where is it? This one here. Mia and Chie, and then like went miles ahead once. Well, it's not here, but Hisame came out, right?
Mm.
So that's the history behind it. Is Ice was still relatively known as weak. The only reason why Adele was notably higher than Muddy during that whole time was because of the fact that she can give herself hit count, right? But like you already tried using Adele before, right, Lolly? And and you know how like painful it is to get all her buffs up by herself, right? So like I'm telling
you
you,
have to stay in the front line too much.
yeah. So I'm telling you that like these two fixed Ice to be like viable essentially. Before that, they're still viable. They're just kind of feels bad. Because why would you want to field something that Adele can already do herself? Chie 3 at least provided crit damage that was not present before, and so you didn't need to worry. So it lowered the amount of SP cost of Adele and gave her more damage. So that was a big deal. And not only that, but Chie 3 can also heal because she has the healing skill. So there's just a bunch of things that she can do, and that's why Ice became stronger, right? Anyways, Yuki 5. She is, I'm going to place her in utility. She is a breaker who can't bring large dark field, and that's it. Funny thing, when she first came out, there was an argument of like, is she even good or not? And the reason why that was kind of a prominent talking point was because she didn't do anything except for drop a dark field. Notably, however, outside of score attack, her common skill and like just her skills in general was really good for dungeon and stuff like that, because she can provide more damage for herself, as well as the base damages were really, really high, things like that. So good for dungeon, but like, to be honest, not really for anything else. I want to place her in utility support, and she's gonna be considered like an 8, because the large dark field was, large field was just hard to come by for quite some time, and she kind of just does that job really well, and that's pretty much it. She was the first dispel in JP. Most likely EN. I'm not confident how much they're gonna push the third wave, but if they do end up pushing Kanata out, Kanata 1's buff, that means that she will not be the first and only dispel. But during the time of her release, she was incredibly potent because of the
Didn't we
dispel.
already get confirmation?
Yep.
We already got
Kanata mentioned
confirmation
in
about
buff
Kanata.
adjustments too.
Lolly, just trust me on this, okay? We need more confirmation.
What?
Okay.
It's like pretty solid confirmation. To me.
No. I'm not allowed to say more.
Right.
That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. Is that like?
Even though it's already in the game news?
Did you see a date?
Yeah, it says mid-May.
That's not a date.
That's a date.
That's not a date.
We're getting an update in the middle of May, and they
We'll
said
find
mid-May.
out.
It's gonna be the 16th of May.
We'll find out.
Wait a sec. The 17th of May?
We'll
18th
find
of
out.
May?
We'll find out. Maybe the 30th of May.
It's not
That's still
mid-May.
mid. That's still mid. It's in the
Mid-May,
middle
as
of
long
May.
as it's not the
It's as long as it's in May.
as long as it's not the
We don't know.
35th.
We don't know. Okay. Cause did you see any announcement of a tower upgrade? I didn't.
That's true. There's
Okay.
we're
If
still
there's no
waiting for
announcement
that.
of a tower upgrade, I will not trust that it will come out. I'm just saying, you cannot get this update without the tower upgrade. Okay? And I did not see an announcement for tower upgrade. Until I
They
see
didn't
that
announce
get released, I do
tower
not
at
trust. I do not trust we're getting this.
Okay.
That's it. Okay? That's my caveat. I cannot trust we
Okay.
get it. Until I see that we're getting tower upgrade. Anyways, I believe she will be the second dispeller. In JP, she was the first. I believe we will. I really hope so, but I did not see a tower upgrade announcement. They said more to come. I hope that's what more to come means. I really hope
Was
that's
they
what it
announce
means.
the Nina buff? Maybe that's the more to come.
What?
They didn't announce the Nina buff.
They
Maybe
didn't.
that will
Yeah,
more
it could
to
be
come.
that, but I really hope it's tower. And Nina, but like I hope it's both. Anyways, Yuki's good because why she's in utility is because of that. So I am gonna place her like bottom of 8, because she has the unique, might not be unique in EN. By the time that she comes out, I don't think I think she will have her thing. So she is able to dispel, able to bring dark field. Actually able to deal damage too and break. So she is good overall in that aspect. Outside of that, not much. But I still think that that is more valuable than what they bring. So I'll put her bottom of 8. But she will slowly dip lower and lower as more just convenient units come out. Do you have any takes that this is too high? It might be a little too high, but like this is already blocked out, so we may have to move anything up if she is to move down. But I feel like this is a solid placement. Another note is that in JP she was released with 5.1, and during that era is when they started kind of releasing more enemies with buffs, which you could remove their buffs here and there. There are buffs on the 4.2 boss that can be dispelled as well. So she is useful in many places still. But yeah. Should I move on to one of my favorites, Waki 3?
Okay.
Waki 3 is just so good. We're going to place her right here. The reason why she's good is she provides a lot of unique things. First of all, she has an LB0 passive that provides funnel, small funnel, so 5 hit of 10% potency, as long as she's in the front at the start of battle. And this is LB0. So she becomes your kind of your de facto poor man's like dungeon slayer. If you have her, just a copy of her, she can just like roam through dungeons very easily. But the only caveat is that you do want SS1s. AoE. This is the only AoE damaging skill she has that is a common skill. So, Conan 2 buff. You're right.
Yep.
I totally forgot about that.
That one we're getting, right? Certainly. In the mid-May update. Why are you
30th.
saying anything?
May 30th.
Why am I not saying anything? Because I am not allowed to say anything.
I'm looking at the wording here, and it says the mid-May update, implying that there is only one mid-May update. And
I
the
certainly
buffing will
hope
be
so.
in that update. That's what it says.
As you noticed, it's not here for a reason. Okay? I certainly hope so. Until I see a date, a definite date, I do not believe.
This one doesn't even involve tower.
Technically-
He doesn't even have a tower buff.
I don't believe.
This is just a statue.
I believe in Yostar as much as I believe that they'll fix the HTA bug. I mean feature. One day.
Why would they fix it? Just a free drop pickup.
Anyways, outside of that, she provides a thunder attack up, which only sadly will be available only on her first EX use. Right? And she's the first, right, to donate?
She's the first.
I think she's the first to donate.
Unless you count Mua too.
If you
no.
do not consider Kozue, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I count those as batteries.
But yeah, she's the first with this style of skill, which is just give some of your
Yeah.
SP to someone
Yeah,
else.
I mean, it's the first common skill that can do it. See, there we go.
Yeah.
Now it's okay to say, right? It's the first common skill that can do it. Very
Yeah,
good
that's
common
definitely-
skill. What? What you say?
Oh, I just say that's true.
And then she's one of the first. She's not the first because it actually starts off earlier than her. She's part of the third gen, which has LB3 passives that are kind of like strangely unique. So much like Suitama, which I didn't show earlier, at LB3 she does have this +5 SP thing if she's in the front battle thing. So she at LB3 just demolishes dungeon. There's no way to stop her. She's always gonna have 8 SP. She could just toss and spam her 8 SP AoE. So she's just really good in that aspect as well. So she, I believe, would be in this tier 9 section because she just does so much. Even like she does a lot in what's it called again?
Arts.
In score attack, but she just does so much outside of score attack that I just need to put her in tier 9 rather than tier 8. Just because she just does so much. Arts battle, she's amazing. In dungeon, she's amazing. In clearing just random content stuff, she's just amazing. Her damage numbers aren't the best, as you can see. It's just 12k, but it is AoE. Does have 50% damage cap. I mean, damage mod, HP mod. But overall, she just has a lot of stuff running for a kit. You start off a battle. If you need to give someone an ally SP to get the ball rolling, you can do that. She's just overall such a good style to have. But that's why she's part of 9. Is a lot of it has to do with utility. I could actually put her here, like if she was in utility. I think I used to put her in utility in JP. In the JP tier list. I'd note her like around 8 in terms of utility. Should I just put her in utility? I think so. Yeah, we'll just put her there. She's like here, right? Like you guys, I think you guys can agree. She's just like right here in part of utility. Gives SP, has some buffs. OD generation's great because look at this. It gives 10 hits of AoE. And if you're one of those weirdos who cares so much about this, you also have this too, S skill that can provide more hits. So yeah, 25 SP. This could be a 20 hit AOE. Loop all you want.
It could be a
It's great.
25 hit AoE.
What? Oh, you're right.
It could
But
be a
like,
25 hit
yeah,
AoE.
if you're LB3, yeah, 25 hit AOE. Wow, so great. So she's just really good overall because of that. So we get rid of that. Luca. We have right here. We have the first the first non-collab limited style. Her main thing is that she can change between dark and fire. The main thing you should understand is even if she can just blink between dark and fire, she is actually considered. Is it shown here? I actually have no idea. No, it's not. She's actually considered light. I mean, not light, dark and fire at the same time. You don't have to choose which one's which. So that means with Tsukasa 4, you can actually use Tsukasa 4 for the hit count buff and still use like the fire version of the skill and with the hit count buff included, right? Stuff like that. So if anything says, oh, you can only use, like, it only buffs fire, only buffs dark, she can get both, which is really fun. Her main reason of being fielded is the Self Mind Eye, the second unit in the game at the point that could do it, first being Kanade. And of course, this one, just like Kanade, right, is 5 SP and it will increase with level. So, very strong. Due to the buffs they've rolled out, I am to assume that she will come out with her buffs, which isn't too crazy. The main thing you have to understand is that her buffs will only just kind of increase what she's already can do, which is this is mostly where the buff was. She actually is able to defense down more if she has Mind's Eye. The main complaint was just that the reason why she was buffed was actually there was a complaint in JP side that her what's it called again? That her SS1 just dealt more damage than this did. And so this allowed you to not, like, it saved you so much because you didn't have to use Megu's EX twice. So you went from needing so much SP on Megu to just needing, like, what, 36
15.
SP? Right? Because you just need to do
Oh, you
defense
are
down, fragile,
fragile,
fragile, or you can do defense down, like fire defense down, of course, right? And so, like, because Union's also already doing your defense, regular defense down, you really just needed Megu's fire defense down plus fragile, and that was just a lot better overall for damage, which is why she was notably stronger in terms of this. But because that numbers just wouldn't match up, this was just a huge bonus for the fact that you don't have to build any like stats, and she can just bring way higher defense down than like a regular debuffer could. Could you use her as, just a dark defense downer, just a fire defense downer? I mean, you can. It's not that great, but you can. The other thing you should note is that she does come with a 10-hit single target attack. So much like Yuri here, she actually builds OD very fast. And so you can kind of just spam the skill as needed. And the cleverest thing about it and the coolest thing is if you just wanted to use it for the hit count, for 14 SP, and you wanted to save Yotsuha's like crit damage and the fire enhance, all you had to do was change it to dark, and you could just save the buffs. So she was just really good at doing those type of things, building OD and all that. And like, and so like she's still very good. Probably the best Duka outside of Diva, right? Like if you're not fielding Diva, she's still really strong, even if you don't run Diva. You can just give yourself the hit count, a buff from Diva, and then roll over content. She's just really good overall. There are still people who really love this version of Duka and still use her over Diva. And my account, which is not like the most whale thing in the world, but it's also still very developed, I get out damaged by them. And I run Diva, so that like gives you an idea of like how much damage it really deals. It deals quite a bit of damage, and thus, I personally would at least put her above Yuri, just because she just does so much. But I can't really like proudly put her above Adele, so I'm gonna place her here. You guys have any other things to add to that long spiel I did?
Not really. Self-Mind's Eye is a really strong buff. It's a shame Diva came out and ruined her.
I know. Honestly, she was one of my favorites to use, dude. Her EX is so cool. I love it. Um, hey, look, it's your favorite, Bungo.
Oh hey, I have
Bungo's
that
here.
one.
Yeah, I know. Dango Bungo, SS3. Dango Bungo is another fun Bungo. It's not the Boon God, but it is a fun Bungo. She is a breaker, just like all breakers.
She has the best skill name in the game.
I mean this one. You mean this one? The Dango?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you didn't notice, she has a skill name called dash zeros. I mean dash circle circle circle. It just looks like a dongle. It is a dongle. Okay. That's just the name of the skill. I hope Jast does not butcher this and change it, because if they do, that is very sad. Um, how would you feel, Red, if Jast changes the name of this?
I'm sure I would never notice because I'm not going to have this bungo.
Anyways, this Bungo's thing is that without LV3, she kind of just there. LV3, mostly this +5 SP, allows you to basically pop this off really, really fast. Just note, her main use is that she has a decent AoE attack, 8 to 8 hits, which is actually pretty high for a breaker, and it can dispel. It's a first use thing, just like her SS2, and at second use, it just doesn't deal that much damage comparatively to the first use. She's used some here and there in CT Hell, at LB3, that is. And otherwise, she's kind of just used to fight enemies that have high DP pools and low HP pools, and there's like a lot of the enemies, which is basically not often. This Dango skill is just the same thing as the what's it called again? SP Orb. The only main difference is that you get one hit of damage in OD building, right? And you will have a chance to buff the enemy's defense by 50%. Yeah, it sounds like a troll and meme, but it really doesn't matter because she can just remove the buff. So, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
It's RNG done right.
Yeah. It's RNG done right, which means that RNG actually doesn't do anything there. I personally kind of just rate her probably next to Carol, maybe a little bit higher than Carol, but like she's just nothing. I feel like there's just not much to say about her. She just kind of
Home
exists.
screen Memoria.
Home screen Memoria. Miko 3. One of the fun ones. Okay. Miko 3. Prominent still in JP if you are not a huge whale, or if you don't have Mona 3. And she's just really nice to have because she has her EX will scale with level, right? and it'll provide a 2-turn defense down and a 2-turn fragile, while also giving yourself extra turn. This means that she can just provide double of this, and it costs 10 SP, by the way. So at 20 SP, she can use 2 of these without OD, and then your damage you can go pop the enemy. Wow, you didn't. You can. It's just so much she can do. Her LB3 is lowering your SP cost by 2. You won't feel the necessity of this until like way down the line in JP, to be quite frank, when they upgrade her SS1's EX. Oh, Urza already left. Sleep well. Sleep well. And her common skill is pretty, like, not useful. I have actually used it multiple times, even though I say it's not useful, just because the weird comps and stuff I like to make. All it does is just single target heal, which is kind of okay. Can give a little bit over heal, and it costs 5 SP, which is a little too much, to be quite honest. But this skill is pretty nice to have. Just also note that she does bring regular defense down, so she can literally be your only light debuffer, as long as it's a single target fight, and you should be fine, right? And I think she only takes 2 turns to do all her debuffs, right? Because she could use this twice into a regular defense down, and then the next turn she could use the regular defense down, and then you're done. So provides all the defense down you'll need outside of eternal ones. But at this point in time, they're rare, so just not much to talk about there. Yeah. Where do I rate her? She is incredibly strong as a debuffer. Definitely fills up this void that we've been having. And I would probably put her top of 8 at this time, due to the fact that she can do all the debuffs that you'll need. She just doesn't have feel, doesn't have, overwrite. Just overall very, very strong when it comes to an overall kit. Should probably change these. Oh no. But yeah, she fills the void. How are we feeling about my placement, Red and Lolly? I feel like this is just a really solid placement to place her. I feel like this is like the right place. But if you guys feel like she should be a little bit higher, let me know. Or
I feel like she could be a little bit higher. Her lack of reliance on overdrive sets her apart from the other debuffers. She can set up 2 fragile, 2 light def down, and 1 light def down without using any overdrive. And it's kind of ridiculous.
you think I put her too low, Lolly? Because I'm that's why I'm asking. It's like I can personally argue her here. I think it's the lowest I would put her. So I just want input to see if you guys think this is too high. But like, I know this is the lowest I'll put her, but is this too high?
Personally, I'll say she should be higher than Mia 2, just because she basically does the same thing as Mia 2, but also having the extra light defense down.
Ah, that's fair. You're right. That's fair. Okay, we'll put her here then. These are very fair. Okay. Koju 3. So Koju 3 is honestly
Really strange.
how do I put it? She is an interesting unit. The main problem with her is that she is very squishy. As you can see, she has a 40-60 growth. Her DP is actually pretty low. Her base DP is actually pretty low. And her main problem is that you actually want her to be in the front all the time because of her LB0 passive, which means that when she's in the front line, when she has more than 6 morale, which is this buff that she provides, which is then she'll gain +1 SP per turn. Her main issue comes in is that she wants to be in the front all the time, but she's kind of squishy. So that makes it so, and she's like a growth character. So as you can see here, For 6 SP, as 6 uses, you only use it 5 times, by the way, for max value. It fills up your gauge for overdrive by 15%, so it's more than. No, it's the same, right? Yeah, it's the same as
Yes,
running
a
a
OD orb.
OD orb. However, you also gain morale. This morale is a big deal because it provides 5 stats. It says right here, each level provides 5 stats for all your stats, which is a big deal. And then a 5% enhance. This is stackable with other enhances additively. So it's like just a 50% enhance that can actually be added to your damage. This 5+5 stat is a huge deal for tanking, for debuffing, for anything. So very strong, very potent. But the fact that to pull this off, she has to be in the front very often. If you don't have anyone protecting her like Aoi, she just blows up. So at LB1, she's just really hard to field and just keep alive in general to do her job. Her common skill is also very good, right? Providing crit rate, crit damage. It's not 50% crit damage, but it's better than nothing. And you have to make note that her SS1, hopefully at this time, she'll have tower upgrade of providing a small enhance, which feels kind of worthless, to be honest. Even at max level of 17, it doesn't really reach the levels of a large enhance, but it is always just a small bonus to have and nice to have if you don't care about getting the most damage out. The party debuff is a buff that will just increase your debuff amount by 20%. If your skill has multiple debuffs, it will actually do all of the debuffs. This is just skill based, right? So this is incredibly strong, but you can only have one of these at a time on your that's used on your buff bar. However, you can queue them up, so you can have 3 of these queued up at the same time, and so each different skill will just consume one of these. But one skill will not be 40% because you have 2 stacks of it. It'll just be the 20%. Koju 3, I think is easily a partner with Aina 1 in terms of utility. You get stats. Oh, I forgot to note. Red, you should have reminded me. Morale can carry over in Arts Battle and Dungeon. So she is the Dungeon Crawler support and the Arts Battle support because she just provides stats, free stats. And once you're fully statted out, she can just provide crit buff all the time because she just gets so much SP. So she's just really good, really strong for that. Were you just waiting for me to stop talking?
I was going to see if you mentioned it, and I was going to bring it up if you didn't.
Nah, if I'm placing it, then I'm pretty much done. I nearly forgot. Jeez. Now we have to discuss a 4. The Shadow series of Dark, right? She's very strong, has hit count buff, right? Funny enough, this is the only hit count buff that scales with level. Granted, you should always be hitting 5 because you just need 138 effective parameter, which means that your int should only needs to be this high, and you'll get max value. So levels don't actually mean anything for this skill. Too bad it's not this. You know how OP that would be, Red? If this skill with level. But yeah. Her main thing is that she will provide all frontline with this hit count buff, which is amazing because she will pair very, very well with Aina 2. She can also use the debuff herself with auto attacks in EN. Hopefully
For now.
In JP it'll end up being a skill. So yeah, feels bad, but it's okay. And she comes with regular dark enhance. In fact, if you look at all the Casas, she has pretty much every single enhance except for Thunder. Right?
I thought there was one more. Yep, it's just Thunder.
It's just Thunder. I really think it's just Thunder, right? Because she has
Yep.
Fire.
Yeah, it's only
She has
Thunder.
yeah, it's just Thunder. So Kasa's only missing Thunder, enhance. Funny enough, but yeah.
She's
So
also missing big skill enhanced. She doesn't have it on a common skill.
it's not on a common skill. You mean? Jesus Christ, man.
That's the most important part.
Just give her a turn-based one. It's okay, right? I'm just kidding.
Wow.
No, instead
Kasa
they give her
6
an overdrive passive.
Thunder.
But overall, just like all overriders, she should be on par here, par for the course, best of the best in terms of debuffing, just because she has that ability. But just note that you do not need high LBs on her, unlike Shadow, which doesn't actually need high LBs. She just feels better with high LBs. Tsukasa 4 does not care too much about your LBs outside of LB1. So, yeah, that's it for Kasa. Union 3, because we already, Union 3. The Union that says if you don't have Union 1, I'm terrible. I'm just really bad. This Union I am going to place in buffer role just because, well, we're assuming with Union 1, she's basically the same, if not slightly higher. I'm just going to place her in the same box for now, but actually, no, I'm just going to swap them. Screw it. So, Union 3 at LB1 is better than regular Union. There's only one reason behind that, and that is the fact that Union 3, they did this on purpose, by the way, you can tell. Union 3 has an LB0 passive that will increase her attack buffs by 10%. Hello, Mad Goldsmith, in YouTube. Yeah. So there is the reason why this is so good is because, well, as you can see, right? You have skill buff upgrade as her tier, while hers is for debuff, right? And so this basically kind of offsets this buff difference to the point that she's slightly better. She's also used more so in CT than the other Union, just because she has the ability of her EX, which will lower defense at the cost of 0 SP if your SP is under 0. So, yeah, there's just that. Does this even go up? Yeah, it only goes to 2 uses, so it only gets used twice. So that's why she's just slightly better. Also, her EX animation is probably one of the best. I like it. Definitely not reason why she's rated so high. Mia 2. Since this
Mia
is
3?
Mia 3. Do you want to take this one because you like Mia so much?
I would, but there's really not too much to say about her. She
Yeah, there
has
really isn't.
great AoE buffs that combo with future Memoria that hasn't released yet. She gets better over time, but she's never probably the best Mia to use.
Yeah. So this Mia is actually really, really prominent because of Hisame. Because Hisame is is the overrider for Ice, and since it's AoE, she has AoE defense down numbers. The thing is that this Mia is really good because she has eternal defense downs as AoE, which means that she doesn't actually conflict at all with Hisame. It being 5 hit is nice and decent, and sure, just like Megu, it does cost 15 SP, so she is somewhat on the slower side because of that. The heal down also, like I said before, is very nice to have, but it's not essential by any means. And the Cherry Blossom buff is very, very nice to have because it just increases your debuff potency by 20%. When you when you actually use it or not, you can actually feel it. So yeah, that's just really nice. Although sadly in JP, as of now, Mia 2 is just too strong, just because her LB3 passive is just way better than all the other Mias, and that's the main reason why she's used more than these other ones. But overall, she is still used by those who do not have LB3 Mia 2. So, still very strong. I personally value her probably around here, right? Strong, like right here. I think right here is fine. What do you think? Is this too high? I think this is fine.
No, I think that's fine.
Like higher than Megu. Main reason, if you're wondering, even though they do very similar things, is Mia's easier to deploy her fragiles. It could also fragile AoE. There's all this other stuff about her that makes her just slightly better than Megu, even though they're pretty much the same. Chie 3. Very, very good. Very good style. She comes with a skill that costs 14 SP, can be lowered to 7 if she's on extra turn. AoE for 6 hits, which is whatever. It does whatever. It provides ice attack and ice crit damage. The main problem that you'll have to note with her is because this skill deals damage. As you can see, the ice attack up does not scale with level. That does mean that your damage gets slightly lower. However, because the crit damage exists, it overcomes that problem. The extra turn skill she has costs 5 SP. This will go down to 7 SP. So technically speaking, this skill only costs 12 SP? Yeah, 12 SP effectively. This crit rate really doesn't matter. I don't know why it's crit rate and not something else, because she doesn't do damage. But yeah, she exists. LB3 passive means that her buff amount gets increased by 30% if she's in extra turn, which she should be, because there's no reason not to. But yeah, she's decently strong overall, but I don't see her being the highest thing in the world, and she does provide her buff to everyone rather than just the backline like Yotsuha does, but she also can provide support through healing, unlike Yotsuha, which will only provide a large enhance. So it kind of depends what you value more. I do value Yotsuha a little bit more, and I will put Chie at bottom of tier 7. I don't think I would put her above Tsukasa 2 by any means. So I think this is like a decent placement for her, but I still feel like it's too low because these ones are really worse than her. Maybe I should just lower these two to 6 at that point. What do you guys think?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Chie also generates overdrive when she's buffing, which is a pretty big deal.
So I think this is fine, like this. There we go. Okay. This is fair. Because I don't think she deserves here yet. I made this extra layer, but I haven't used it yet. We'll see. Kanata 2. Not much to say about her. She just a blaster that has a weird LB1 passive. She gains SP as long as she has charge. And her AoE damage is not too high, but her DR amount is not too high. Her main issue is that her EX costs a whopping 18, I think, SP, which is kind of nuts. And doesn't really get too much value off of it. I don't think she's like the worst thing in the bucket, but she also isn't that great. I think like around here is fine. Irene 2. Irene 2 is JP's first piercing crit, but EN, I can gladly say she's a pass. Because Inori 2 exists. If you have Inori 2, you do not care about this Irene at all. The only benefit that this Irene has over Inori 2 is the fact that she can dispel buffs. Outside of that, she's just worse in nearly every regard. Lower amounts of potency. Her mod is very low. Just a lot of problems for her kit. The only nice part is she can provide herself some attack up and crit damage, but look, it's like the lower amounts, so it doesn't feel as good even. The only real bonus of her is if you have SS1 is large funnel, but it's only for 2 stacks. So it's just not worth trying to pull for her, especially when her partner is Britika, and if you have Inori 2, Inori 2 is just straight up better. So, Irene is going to be still kind of up there, but I can't really feel her in the same place as Inori. And I will feel her, I think right here is fine. Actually, maybe a little... nah. I feel like this is fine. What do you think, Red?
I think that's a fair place to put her.
I don't really want to put her above Aoi, because Aoi's just that much stronger in terms of a lot of places. Just, Irene's a lot faster.
Yeah, she does solo HTA instantly.
Yeah, she just solos HTA, solos.
So does Irene
farming.
1. So
yeah, so does Irene 1. Yeah. But yeah, Britika 2. Problem with Britika 2 is she is niche, incredibly niche. When you want her kit, she is good. When you don't want her kit, she is bad. Her common skill brings absolutely nothing to the table, and her EX skill will provide you with debuff guard. One of 2 skills that will have debuff guard in EN as of what this is supposed to talk about. Debuff guard just provides a block of getting a debuff. If the enemy does like multiple debuffs at the same turn, as long as they're not 2 separate attacks, this will actually guard from all the debuffs. And yes, enemies will be able to attack you more than once per turn. DP recovery. It's not the highest. It's about as low as all the regular heals are. However, you can get to 150% DP. If you notice here, she also has this, which is she will increase everyone's defense by 15%, which means 15% damage reduction. And this is only if her own DP is above 100%. So this is decent, but nothing amazing. And you just have to remember that she also will have this, which will provide a regular heal, defense up, as well as this. Is this worth fielding? Is he really good? The answer is no, not really. But if you're fighting stuff like, what's it called again? Orb bosses, you might find some use in her, just because she will make the enemy like deal peanut damage. I personally would put her in like 3, 4, probably 4. Right next to this Buritika. She's better than this Buritika, so I guess you just put her like 1 above, and we'll call it a day. Does Buritika 2 work similarly with Lisa 3 in that she can prevent ally debuffs? They work very differently, actually. So Buritika 2 prevents you from gaining a debuff, but once you have it, it does nothing. Lisa 3 does nothing before you have a debuff. Once you have the debuff, it will cleanse off the debuff. Those are 2 very different skills, right? So one just prevents it from getting it, and one of them will take it off once you have it. Technically speaking, the cleanse one is slightly better, just because you can take it off whenever you need to, but also, like, you can technically argue that the debuff guard is better because it just prevents you from getting debuffed entirely, which is also better if it's like a stun or a Confuse or something, which are the worst. This is like a okay placement, right? I just placed her right above Ritiko 1. I don't see a reason. Even though she's technically a healer, not a defender, I think this is just fine to place her here.
Yeah, I don't really see situations where she's useful.
She's good for Amon.
Yeah.
Before what's called Bungo Unison, she was actually actively used there. Now you just Bungo Unison plus Aoi and you just don't worry about it. Seda 3. The weird Aoi damage hybrid. Have you ever used her? I feel like you have never used this girl.
No, of course not.
Do you even
I
have
don't
her?
use fire teams. I do.
Okay. She's actually not bad. That's the sad part to say because no one uses her except for Seda fans, and you know what? There aren't very many of them. Um, her EX skill is basically based off of how much DP she has. If her DP is at 0, then at 1, she will deal a lot more damage, and then after she hits the enemy, she will heal herself. And usually it gets you to basically max DP, right? This skill, though it says only 10k, actually hits for I think like 20k or something like that. Once you meet all the thresholds or something. Is it incredibly strong? Yes and no. But at the same time, the main problem with her is that setting her up is the hardest part, which is why no one uses her. You need to actually get her DP to 1 for her to deal the max amount of damage. And the problem with it is that it requires you to use this skill, her common skill. You only have 4 uses. It is a like a small version of Aoi's skill. It provides AoE cover, so all attacks will be directed towards her, and it will bring break guard, which means that as long as she's above 50% DP, she cannot be broken. So you can basically hit this, she'll be at 1 SP if the enemy actually hits an AoE on her, and then you run this skill right afterwards, and then the boss will die. That's basically how she's used. But the problem is that means you have to require setup on making sure that she is tanking a hit for this AoE, and then you don't heal your team at all. But before she gets to use this skill, if it's your damaging turn, right? So it's a little bit awkward and a little bit harder to use, but she is still a strong damage dealer. But due to her due to making it just so difficult to use, I can't personally feel okay putting her higher than viable, so I'm just gonna sit her in viable. Unless Red, you think that I should value how much damage she deals over just how easy she is to field, like her difficulty of her fielding, I can't really raise her higher than this, and I don't think she should be under viable because she does hit super hard. It's just, I feel like it's just hard to make it happen when you want it to.
If her damage was good enough that it would move her up on the tier list, then people would probably justify using her more often than they do.
Yeah.
And they don't.
But they don't, yeah. It's just not high enough. But when I have used her, it's fun. I'll note that, because you have to use your brain. I should change the color of this. I keep changing. Keep forgetting. Just change all of them like this. There we go. Before I forget. Kanata. I'm getting distracted, but I need to do this. Okay. Shadow 3. The weird buffer that no one should roll for, but she's actually not bad. So Shadow 3 is built off of having Shadow 1. If you don't have Shadow 1, Shadow 3 basically feels really bad. Like, actually pretty bad. She is the only one who can provide Eternal Oath, which means that she'll target someone, and she'll provide these stats. 50% enhance, which is additively stacked with all other enhances. 25% defense, which means 25% damage cut, and 50% crit rate, which pretty much doesn't matter. The 5 SP does matter, and she also gives this to herself, right? So the fact that this costs 10 SP, but she also gives herself 5 SP, effectively it costs only 5 SP. I don't know why they did it this way when they could have just said it costs 5 SP and then got rid of the self SP recovery, but oh well, I don't care. This this skill can only be used once, and the main reason why this skill is good is because of her own passive, which is that if there is someone with Eternal Oath in the front line, then all other Eternal Oath users, like passive person in the back line, will still get +1, right? So allows those, if you have like LB0 dark damage dealers, to still gain the SP they need in order to pull off what they need to do, and pretty fast too. So she would be good for something like Chie, because Chie really just needs that extra SP if she ever put into the back, stuff like that. But not really used for anything because, well, there are characters that just do more than her. Her normal skill is just a normal dark enhance and a normal regular enhance. It's a stronger dark enhance and a normal regular enhance. If you level up the skill, the dark enhance gets better. She's just not amazing. Her defense downs are all AoE because of her regular, her SS1. And I just never find a use for having her outside of memeing with, pairing her with a dark, what's called, Unison Ruka. I'm so tired. This is so long because we're adding so many units. But yeah, so that's just it. How much do I actually value her? Probably not too great, but probably better than these girls. So I think like right under Shie. Oh, make that red. But I feel like this is like the right place to place her. You have any other input?
Nope. This one's up to you.
Yeah, I used her a lot. That's why. I definitely not better than Shie, and definitely better than the ones under her. So, what I could do, you know what I could do? She's not like that much better than these girls. So I think the better way to do is this, because I could just finally make use of this. Because there should be a space. She is like way worse than Shie in my opinion. So this is a good place to place her. Like this. This is beautiful. Perfect. Yeah, we got rid of Shadow. And then the controversial in EN, in my opinion, I think Uina 4 is the most controversial one. I've mentioned this before to Lolly. And Red, listen to my take, my hard take of Uina 4. It's a interesting take. My take is that Uina 4 is good, but if you're free to play, you should probably not actually pull for her. The reason behind it is that she is the gift that gives you the better your account is. She is only as good as your account is. So if your account isn't that great, she isn't great. Unlike the stars of the show of like, Aina 2 or like Inori or any of these buggers, she's actually just like her main usage is the fact that she does two things very well outside of damage. Number one is the fact that she can build DR and have a solid count of 10 on this skill here. And of course, if you are using this skill and you're on extra turn, this is halved SP right? So it costs 7. Um, she can provide the main thing is that she can provide your whole entire front line an extra turn for 7 SP. Can use this skill to provide 10 hits for 7 SP for a cost of 14 SP. Very, very nice kit. And it can also double down as a damage dealer that has hit count up, which means you don't really need to bring Union for her. Because, yeah, sure, Union will provide her extra a little bit of damage, but, like, overall, you really don't need it. And this front line is the biggest thing. But the problem is that this part will only really just increase how good at her teammates can. Like, the better her teammates are, the better she is. Because she's only as good as her teammates. So, I think the main problem with Unit 4 is that if you're not going to get all the puzzle pieces about, or all the good stuff that exists, you can't really abuse her. And she's just kind of like a mid-unit that just enables OP units to become really, really OP. And so if you don't have the right stuff, it's just not worth chasing her. She's like an accessory in that sense. And so I will put her high on the list because she's good, but it's always a caveat to say that if you don't have the pieces for her, if you don't have things to, like you don't have like a solid account, she just doesn't feel as good. And the more I play, the more I like don't need to use her for anything. If my account is just not good enough to support her. Granted, this skill here is an important skill for light. This skill is yes. By the way, Crazel, it's been a while, but like it's just so hard to like say this is a must pull. You know what I mean, Red? After like trying to,
she's a must pull.
like she
Except
used
if you're
to
a whale.
Way. Yeah, except for if you're a whale. If you're a whale, she is
A whale's
like a
everyone,
must.
presumably.
Yeah, exactly. Even like a mid spender, I would like argue against her getting her at the moment for like EN and stuff. So I will still put her high on the list because she is so good in utility and all that stuff. But her utility comes in the form of if the rest of your team is good, she is good. If the rest of your team is she's just terrible. So that's like my little thing that I like to like bring up. But overall, I do believe she does fit here, just because she is powerful in many things she does. But the warning label I will always put about her is if you do not plan to get the puzzle pieces to make her like to make your account good, she will not feel as good as she should. Of course, I'm going to put her in utility as well, and under utility, I think extra turn fits probably right here. What do you think? Is this too high? Blasting plus extra turn?
No, I think that's reasonable. Maybe even higher.
Yeah, I mean, these are way too good, though.
She's the only one with extra turn, though.
Yeah, but, like,
Such a unique
she's the only one that provides you 150% if she breaks, right? Like, she's...
But there's other units that give a lot of overdrive.
Yeah, but this one's insane, dude.
It's insane.
This one's the morale giver, not that, like... She's like the fastest way to get morale outside of the now Lisa Mama. Very good, by the way. The
Don't
update
forget,
for
Sega
Lisa.
3 can also give morale.
Yeah, but it's not as fast.
No, it's not.
It's only to dark too. It's not worth it. Is it only to dark? I think it's only to dark.
Don't forget, Sumomo 3 can also give morale to the only character that matters, Sumomo 3.
Yeah, well, who cares about that? Yeah. So yeah, that's my take. I think she should go here. I think she just provides quite a bit, like that's more useful in a sense in terms of like by herself she can provide more than Yuina can by herself. Yuina just provides what everyone else above her can provide better. So yeah. We're near the end. Woo! How long's this been a stream? Nearly 3 hours. Jesus Christ. I've been trying to like cut the
Alright.
time. Yeah, dude, I'm trying to cut the time because I don't want to eat up your time too much and stuff like that. But that's why I was like, this is as far as I want to go. Synergizes Muddy 3. Uh, 150% DR. No, not 100% DR on break. 100%, 150% OD on break. So your OD will go from 0 to 1.5 if you break with Akari, which is why she is LB2 plus, because she needs to be strong enough to break. So let's say like you built up the OD like what, 1.5, and then you break with Akari, you automatically OD3. Really powerful. Okay, Adele 4. Everyone's favorite. She is cute as hell, and better than Muddy.
Is that so?
What?
I might have to disagree with you on that one.
What do you mean? Better than Muddy 4? What do you mean? You like Muddy 4?
Yep.
Damn. I'm not talking
She's
about
the star of
points.
that banner, really.
Okay. Are you talking? Are you talking about usage? Or are you talking about I'm
Oh,
talking about
usage.
No.
Yeah, Adele's fine. She's pretty much Yotsuha.
Yeah, but she's as good as Yotsuha. In fact,
She's
I'm
like been
gonna.
consistently as good as Yotsuha for a while. It's kind of amazing how close they are,
Yep.
despite being fairly different units.
They are fairly different units. In fact, Adele 4 is arguably weaker in terms of buffing. She excels in the fashion that she can build a crazy amount of DR. She brings in shadow clones. In JP, she even buffed her even more with her master skill, which is basically a budget Aoi ult. It's just all around very good. Her buffing amount is smaller. However, she is faster to buff because if you have Shadow Clone, her EX cost is halved. So, just all around really good unit. And yeah, there's not much to say outside of really good unit. I'll just show it off right here because it's just so good. Um, but yeah, you don't really need to bring her hit count buff on her. She's like it's not that big of a problem. Her DR, as you can see, is not the highest, but you have to realize that this skill will cost 7 SP instead of 14 if as long as you have Shadow Clone, which means that she will dodge incoming hits completely for 2 hits, right? And not only does she dodge the hit, she also dodges the debuff. So no stun, no nothing. Really just busted when it comes to that. The skill damage is existent, but nothing crazy. And she starts off the battle with 2 Shadow Clones to start off with, right? So
Yep.
yeah, so just overall really strong unit, and can build up DR everything you need. And Yotsuha basically doesn't hit the enemy, so that's the main issue. Mari 4, she's really good as well. The main issue is that she she also comes with the Shadow Clone thing, right? And gives herself 2 Shadow Clones. So she's very safe. She's an extremely safe damage dealer. The main problem is that her EX conditionally wants to have the Shadow Clone available, or else the potency goes. I mean, not potency. I mean the buffs that she can get are gone. So she will lose out on a Mind's Eye. She'll lose out on crit rate and crit damage. Her main selling point is that she can buff herself, so you don't really need much support on her for buffing outside of regular enhances and fire enhances. She kind of like covers some crit damage and some of the crit rate by herself, and including that one Mind's Eye. So you can effectively just spam to just break the boss. As long as she has Shadow Clone, you can just throw one Suitama EX, and then she'll just break the boss. To double down on that, if you do get her to LB3, but this tier list is not for LB3, she will give herself a starting amount, if she's in the front line, of 5 extra SP. So turn 2, she can actually just break the boss. Like, no questions asked. Her number, the main issue that she does have, though, is if you take a look, her potency is, like, just decent here. It's nothing, like, crazy. It's not low, but it's just not, like, crazy. And so she might feel a little bit weaker just due to that. Plus her base for, not that you can see bases here, but her base stats wise, her strength is not exactly her best stat. So she just kind of feels a little bit on the weaker side because of that. Plus these buffs don't feel that relevant when you're fielding Suitama anyways. So there's a bunch of like weird problems that she has, but overall as a standalone she is very potent. So I'm gonna place her probably like right here. I think it's a good place to place her. So because she can't get 2 stacks of Mind's Eye, unlike Ruka here, right? But also doesn't have the same hit count plus DR and stuff, but she can provide herself a fast break and stuff like that. I'm going to place her right here. Do you think I should place her higher? I think this is fine.
No, I think that's fine.
Like, she's definitely above these girls, that's for sure. And the last 2, woo!
Another summer banner.
Summer banner, the final one. You know banners after this? Do you remember, Red? What's banners after this?
1 second.
It's the forgettable banner.
I definitely forgot about it.
Okay. If I say Chiroru 2.
Oh yes, Maki and Shiroru.
Dude, Maki and Chiroru 2. Chiroru 2, the most forgettable kit, because it's so bad.
Yeah, she's like Summer Tama, but slightly worse, or slightly better.
Oh my god. Anyways, we're gonna get on those way later. Probably like 3 months, 4 months. But yeah, let's finish up. Megu 5 Summer. So, if you remember, they realized that they made Megu 3 a little too strong. Yeah, this kit is a little too powerful. Thus, they decided that over a year later, they will basically release the same exact kit, but AoE. And so her damage is a lot less. And her defense down is also less because it's AoE. In a sense, they just gimped her, right? To provide some more, oomph from her gimp is they made her LB3 passive extra strength on her defense down, which means that this will basically be as strong an equivalent as a single target if you LB3 her. Her main boost is this Eternal Zone Up, right? So this will increase your zone, which is the same thing as field, by 15%. So it's not 15% of your field, this is 15% flat. So if your field is 20%, this will increase the potency of your field to 35, 20 plus 15, right? In this case, her zone is 65. So 65 plus 15 is in fact 80%. This is also the first time that they provided a passive slottable skill. So, if I remember correctly, right? Am I wrong on that? Pretty sure
No, I think they were introduced with this banner in this event.
So this event and this banner.
There was also a welfare one.
Yep. This is the first, this is what the patch that they released. The first slottable passive. And this passive is just really good because not only that, but you also get permanent effect on that zone. Field time increase isn't that crazy, but it's also nice to not have to remember it anymore, to be honest. So because of that, she is really strong, but due to sharing the skills and stuff with Megu 3, I don't find her as good as Megu 3 because her defense numbers are not as high because they're AoE. But also you can argue that she is built for AoE than not, but I am going to put her as strong as Megu 3, but one little less, right? Because, well, of that problem. So, unless Red, you can convince me otherwise, I think this is like a solid spot for her.
Yeah, they feel like the same style, but one is red and one is yellow.
Yep.
That's about it.
The main thing you should know is that both of them can easily break the boss because they're zone and their defense down, and then they do damage, and so they can act as your breaker. Your main damage dealer does not have to move, and that's what makes them also really good. And then lastly, Cotton 4. So in JP tier list, I put her under Buffer, mostly because she does follow Adele in terms of being a buffer, right? Let's see, where is it? Here it is. As you can see here, she provides crit rate and dark crit damage, and then AoE instead of single target, right? Of blasting. She is actually a better blaster than Adele is, but her buffs are just not that good. If she did bring the same buffs as Adele, I would put her pretty high up. She would be very strong in that sense, but not the same strength as Adele because, well, she can't decrease the amount of SP she has. She uses. So she is decent. Her main issue, in my opinion, comes in the fact that she provides crit rate instead of enhance. On top of that, it's normal crit rate and not dark crit rate, so you can't really save it either. Not a really huge fan of her kit. And the main selling point about her is you're grabbing this. You get her for this skill to put on her other versions. Which is, you actually, if you have this buff, you can use your EX twice. However, you must have more than one usage left on your EX. So if you only have one use left on your EX, this does not make you use your EX twice. You only use it once, because it will consume 2 triggers of your EX, right? So just make sure you do know that when you do slot this into your team. She is very strong in terms of what she does, but Dark doesn't need what she does. So I don't value her kit that much. And thus I will put her probably like here. What? Oh, I messed up. Ha! Oops. This is a fine spot to put her. I think this is fine. You think I should place her somewhere different? She's just not that shiny of a star. This is good.
I think you could probably like move her ahead of Mari and Tsukasa.
True. You're not wrong. I was thinking about that, but I was too lazy at the same time. Okay. So, there we go. We have completed all the way until end of summer of 2024 in JP. Tama's upgrade, I don't really think it really improves her too much. Does it? Because it's just a battery, right? That they added? And
They
the
also
passive...
gave her a debuff on her skill.
Oh, right,
But it's an
they
attack
did.
debuff.
But who cares about that? It's attack.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it moves her. I think she just stays there.
Yep.
So, yeah, overall, I don't think we have to change too much. I think this is good. There might be a little bit of changes here and there, but I think overall, Red and I can at least agree. And Lolly, if he's still around. This is pretty generally where everyone's at. Some things may move around up and down, but a lot of it will have to do more so towards like minor tweaks of depending on the buffs that they actually provide or not and when, and I'll change stuff according to that. Otherwise, this is pretty much how things feel. Just remember that damage wise, unless you're in the top like 3 brackets, set 8 plus, you don't really feel that much of a difference using any of these ones that are lower. Some of them are just a lot harder to use than others. Otherwise, you don't really feel much of a difference. Support wise is pretty much the same, except for you'll probably be just fielding anyone who is at 7 or higher. And that's pretty much it. Anyone who is 6 or lower, you can easily field in if the rest of your team is 7 or higher and not feel their weight being too heavy. And then if you have multiple 5 and lower, you will definitely feel that in your team. Most definitely. So just be wary of that. This list should not be seen as like, oh, if they're low on here, that means they're bad. It just means that they're harder to actually just use, and there's less places where you would feel like you would want to use them if you have everyone. That's pretty much how it works. For instance, Minori 1 has places you can use her, but like Minori 1 here, right? Yeah. But ultimately, most of the time, you will not choose to use her, but there will be times where you feel like she is a good fit for the team. Likewise to say for everyone else. So that's pretty much it. I will fix up how this looks overall, and so look forward to the updated look of the files. I'll also note that I am currently working on updating this Memoria details page to look easier to navigate and more pretty. On top of that, actually updating the words in it, because I haven't updated in like 6 months because I've just been really busy. But I would like a little bit of input if people are around. Here is what I'm planning to make it look like, kind of. Ignore this section here. Just this top section. So it's gonna be like your character name, the master skill, the like general written stuff about the skills, and then it's just gonna be SS1, SS2, SS3, etc., etc., and then it's gonna move on to the next character. So it'll be hopefully easier for people who are using phone to access this. And if anyone thinks that that's not as good as what I have here, then should leave a message for me, since I do try to update this to help people out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I will note before I leave. Yes, take care, Med. Hi, Crazel. It's been a while.
I just got back. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yep. I will note that pull recommendations. I am trying to figure out how I want to work around this with the new Waki Minion criteria thingy. I don't know if you've seen this, Red. I added this section.
Oh yeah,
You like this?
they have their own element.
They have their own
Waki.
element. Waki Minion. It's their own element. Thank you.
One day we'll get to see every character be a Waki
Their
minion.
own
I'm-
Menai.
I'm thinking of like, I don't know if I want to leave them here like this, because this is also true. They're solid niche general supports. This is like your looper plus yeah, and then we have Seda 4, which is also really good. But without the other parts, she just doesn't feel as good. But yeah, we have her. I'm actually gonna differentiate between Pierce Crit and Waki Minion meta. I think they're different enough.
Slightly different.
Because of just like you won't really field, like you don't field Miko Seda with non-Waki Minion because you feel the difference. But yeah, it's gonna be considered the Waki Minion element. So
What about that person who fielded Miko for Amon without any other Waki's minions? and then fought it for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Dude, can you imagine
And
doing
won.
that? 700 and was it 12 turns? Jesus
I think
Christ, dude.
712, yeah.
Jeez, dude, imagine doing a fight for 712 turns. Fuck. That's
Wasn't it
awful.
pure manual as well?
It was manual,
It
yes.
was all manual,
It was
yep.
all manual. Oh, dude, I saw that. I was like, oh my god, dude, that's pain. But yeah, overall, this has a new look. I don't know if it changed since you last saw Red, but I do like the new look. It does
Yeah, it's a
dub
lot
things down.
updated.
It looks better, doesn't it, than I used to have it? It looks
Yeah.
pretty ugly before, but now it looks pretty. If I look like I'm missing anything, you can poke me out. My real question I have for fun is going to be if and when they're going to update Super Break.
Oh yeah, are we gonna get the pre-buff version or the post-buff version?
Are they no? I mean, even if you get pre-buff version, are they going to like? How long is it going to take for them to actually buff it? That's my real question.
Mm.
I actively
That's
wonder
gonna determine where Yuki 4 is.
because Yuki 4 pre is like not really viable at all. She's just really yikes to use. But like afterwards, she's just so good. So I don't know. It's weird. But yeah. Lolly, if you can, once in a while, like check the files if you have time to see if there's any like things that seem out of place in terms of like, cause I don't like to be the only one checking my work. So if you could once in a while, just like take a poke and be like, if I don't update something, like for instance, these red stuff that I have to do, like stupid minor stuff,
Okay.
let me know. Or if someone else like mentions it in the chat, since you're more active in the chat than I am, let me know. You could just like
Okay.
take a screenshot and send it to me if I didn't see it, just because it'd be nice to know. Let's see, Megu still not in. Oh, did you see my most recent run, Red? I sent it to you, right?
I think I saw
For
it
Square
recommended on YouTube.
Oh, you did? Dude, that run? No, not that one. No, not that one.
Which one is it?
Let me send it to you. I think I sent it to you. I feel like I have. Did
Are
not?
you talking about your fire team or are you talking
Dude, yeah, my
about
fire
your rainbow
team. Dude, the fire team that like I hated running that fire team, dude. It was awful. Here you go. I'm sending it to you in DMs. Okay, look how many turns it took and look who I used. It was awful. It was awful. I did it because I was memeing, not because it is good. I can score higher if I actually use like a better team. But it was just not fun, dude. I just wanted to see if I could make it happen, and I could, but it was awful. I have no other words to say other than that. It was awful. I keep repeating it because it was. Do you like the problem that I gave myself?
Wait, what's the problem?
Do you not see it?
Looks like a fire team to me. Wait a second.
What's the problem you see?
No, what is that?
Look how many turns. Okay.
Yeah, 14 turns.
And look who's
Why
in the
did it
team.
take 14 turns?
What?
Oh, you brought Akari with no way to cleanse her debuff. Is that it? No, you have the orb for that.
I did not use the orb.
Oh, okay then.
I literally survived 14 turns. Somehow with this team. Sure, you
Oh,
can
yeah,
say that I
what's
have
the
Diva,
thing?
but like, you already know how hard it is to just only survive off of Diva.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes she just feels like she can sustain the whole team for some reason.
I
Just
feel
the way
like
she is.
she could sustain the team, but she usually want a little bit of help. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The only help I had on this team is Mia SS1 having attack down. I'm letting you know that was the key, dude. Anyways, I'm gonna
You could
stop
have
my
used
stream.
Summer